This is not a mask. This is confidence.
It's for getting out and working anywhere other than home.
This is not a mask. This is solidarity.
It's for opening the door to a friend and keeping the doors open to your favorite places.
This is not a mask. This is a sign of love.
Yeah, this is not a mask. It's a sign of love. Well, how's everyone doing? I hope you had a nice weekend, first and foremost. Welcome to the big show, Monday Madness. I'm your host, Jeff C. And yeah, we made it through another weekend. Every day above ground is a good day, I guess you could say, unless, of course, you are in Masculvania. You've been muzzled by your government, by the corporatocracy that runs this new world order and that it is creating this great reset. Of course, YouTube community, the things that we care and cherish the most about are diversity, inclusion, LGBTQ, QNSW, XYZ, just I try to be as diverse as I possibly can. And so I'm going to take a look at a extremely diverse range of corporate media shillery from a very small amount of corporations that control all their media and our governments. To show folks how the programming works. Yeah, it's quite something. So, I hope you had a nice weekend. Hopefully you're able to still enjoy life without government stepping in your way, which is happening everywhere, all around the world. We're seeing horrible examples of police state tactics being used by governments. And yeah, I mean, like at this point in time, and I got to check my sound, so I'm going to hear me in a second here. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. Yeah, it's good. When you think about it, you know, people used to freak out when governments got in their way when they were trying to conduct business and stuff, right? The red tape that you had to go through. And, you know, people would get upset when governments were caught spying on people or, you know, maybe going a little bit too militant at times. It's like now governments are just a force of reckoning against all of humanity. It's like there's humanity, and then there's the government, and then there's the people. Got to give a special shout out to those people. You know, the ones that have, like, just if you can, please do this for me. If you see somebody like a social media person, whether it be a celebrity or just a Twitter account or Instagram or whatever, and you see that they're promoting the mask wearing, the muzzling of society, which you will see everywhere, right? Especially amongst certain people in our media. If you see these people, never forget, take a screenshot, especially if they're on their profiles, if their social media profiles feature them wearing a mask, never forget who these people are. Never, ever, ever, ever forget who these people are. That's very important moving forward, because that's why I say I'm going to take a, you know, you can say the corporations and the government, the corporations that are all part of this great reset, who many of us are unfortunately using their products because that's just the way it's all been kind of engineered. Some of us, you can't really help but use some of their products because there's really no alternative. Hey, Susan! Yeah. Right? You get what I mean? It's like you can't... They've orchestrated the whole thing that you only have a very small selection. So you have a very small selection of media to choose from, right? 5 corporations own all your media, basically. That's the case in the United States. It's even less in Rainbow Unicorn Land. It's the same gang of crooks, though. And, we have this major sort of social engineering that is happening right around the world. And always understand this, how it works. It's global society. It's a global initiative. It's a global coup d'etat. So it's going to happen here, there, and everywhere, but it's going to happen in certain places. Things will happen first. They'll choose certain districts to carry out things. And then next thing you know, what they carried out there is manifesting somewhere else. And next thing you know, it's in your own town. And you got to be very wary of this because this is how the whole thing is unfolding. They often use the media to shock you, this what we call predictive programming, where they'll show you things that are going down in other parts of the world, and you'll be, wow, that's terrible, that's horrible. But then you're already growing accustomed to it. Right, that's what we say about predictive programming. It's showing you something shocking so that when it actually happens, it's not such a shock. You actually have grown to accept it in your mind, and therefore you're less likely, or you're more inclined to accept it when it does happen. That's the wicked sort of gaslighting of humanity that is occurring whole scale right across the world. And so it's very important for all of us to be paying close attention to the world, seeing other corners of the world and how this whole game is being unfolded can give you an eye-opening into what is to come in many ways. So, yeah, we do have a lot to go over. This show is entirely financed by its listeners. So if you do like the show, you'll notice I don't have ads or I don't sell any products or anything like that. I have nothing against anybody that does that. But if you do want to support the show, the Patreon link's in the description, and that really, really means the world to me. So, yeah, if you do like the show, please try to come and support it. We have a lot of great people on the Patreon. There's a community tab, all kinds of great information coming in. And so, yeah, let's get into it then. Let's take a look at how the whole thing is going. Monday Madness really is about the start of the new week in the new normal. So it's always a Monday where all these big stories come forth. If you notice, I've got Elon Musk up on the screen because it's how the game plays, right? The game is played. Elon Musk front and center with SpaceX One, where they sent the first privatized corporation to send people to space, or astronauts sort of thing. And so he gets all this media attention because of that. And then he comes out, coincidentally, of course, right? Because, take out the mallet, just whack your head. He comes out and says, I took 4 COVID tests, and there's something really fishy about them. 2 of them I tested positive, and 2 of them I tested negative, and WTF is going on. And so that was one of the big things that was trending today on your mind control. Let's just call social media mind control. Let's just call television mind control. Let's just throw out all the unnecessary labels. Let's just call it mind control. That's what it is. See, if you're in Rainbow Unicorn Land and you think the CBC is news, you are really stupid. You're really, really stupid. You're incredibly stupid. CBC is propaganda. It is mind control. Just like the BBC, just like CNN, just like Fox News, it's all mind control. And until humanity finally wakes up and realizes en masse that this is happening, we're going to be stuck in this situation, folks, because the crime of the century is occurring, and we're all suffering. There's no escape from it now. It's not like the old days where you could just, I don't care, another fake bullcrap event happened in downtown Toronto. I don't care, it doesn't affect me. Yeah, you know what, I don't really care about the guns, I don't have a gun, so I don't really care kind of thing, or... for a long, long time, it was okay to be ignorant. For a long time, it was okay to be stupid. Now it's a real problem because that ignorance and stupidity is being used to usher in this great reset. And so the sheeple are largely responsible. Their stupidity and their failure to ever think critically about what their mind control is doing to them. And I mean, like, there's a lot of people out there that think they're intelligent people, and they're not. You're not a smart person. If you read or watch your news and you don't think critically, you are an idiot. That is all. I don't care how many PhDs you have. Take your PhDs and shove them up your cake hole. I don't give a damn. You're an idiot because you refuse to think critically about your mind control. And until people realize this, I mean, this has been my whole mission. My whole mission since I started doing this is to get people to think critically about everything that comes from our beast system, so that no stone is left unturned, that every little detail of every little article, of every little thing that is put up on your media, you read the CBC, who are the people that they're interviewing? Who's writing the article? Who runs the CBC? Why aren't you thinking these things? And I'm not saying this to my audience. I'm saying this to the brain-dead sheeple that are out there. I guess we gotta wear a mask. Oh, well. What's the big deal? What's the big? So what? We get sprayed now. So what? The government is sticking drones in the sky. So what? They're putting facial recognition everywhere. So what? What's the big deal? Just comply. Yeah, it's thanks to you retards that this is all happening, because we're not complying and we're not allowing this to happen. We're doing everything we can to stand up to it. But the sheeple are the means that they are accomplishing this. So, anyways, let's get into it. Let's share our screen here. You can tell I'm not a real big fan of the sheeple these days, because, it's always been my fear that their ignorance would be used as a weapon to destroy humanity. And that's exactly what's happening. I hate to say, it's a reality, okay? It's reality. I don't want to fight with the average person, and I don't go around with that attitude. But the average person is a bona fide retard, like a bona fide grade A frickin' moron. And it's like a competition. Who could be more moronic? Who could be more compliant with their mind control is what I see on a daily basis. So it gets a little bit taxing, right, to see the idiocracy in full, bloom. And how destructive it is, because we're going to wake up one day. I mean, I'm not going to wake up one day and realize we're in tyranny. I already know it. But humanity's going to wake up and just realize, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been watching Netflix all these years. Maybe I should have questioned the media. Maybe I should have questioned the Great Reset. Maybe I should have said something. Maybe I should have thought for myself. Maybe I should have been more critical. Right? Maybe it's going to be too late, right? It's going to be too late when you're in your concentration camp getting your Soylent Green ration. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, let's get into it. We're going to share our screen here, and then we're going to talk about what is happening. We'll start off with our good friend Elon Musk here, who named his child like THX 1138, if you haven't noticed, by the way. And that's no accident, because that's what they're bringing in. It's their transhumanist sort of New World Order that they want. So you see how Elon Musk is all over Scroogle here in the news. Elon Musk, Tesla joining the S&P 500 1 hour ago. Here's what stations for Elon Musk, the boring company. He is kind of boring. I try to listen to him on Joe Rogan show. He's not a very exciting person to listen to. He's like one of these faux sort of intellectuals who thinks he's super smart, and because he's always taking so long to say things, it like gives you that illusion that, oh wow, he's computing it. Well, kind of looks to me like he might already have the brain chip. But anyways, let's take a look in the news, because, you'd like to think, well, he said some good things today because, he's calling out the scamdemic, perhaps. But look at this. Nar City here. Nar City. I wonder who makes these websites. I wonder who controls our mind control. Probably people we're not allowed to talk about, but here is Nar City. Elon Musk is being called Space Karen after his tweets about COVID-19. You wait till you see how incredibly ironic this is. I mean, it's just out of this world when you see what has happened, this manufactured sort of psyop here. So he said something extremely bogus is going on. Helen Hansen here, 88 here, Helen Hansen. So after he tweeted about the effectiveness of the COVID-19 testing, thousands of Twitter users have decided Elon Musk is a space Karen. Is that how the story is scripted? Is that how? I'll just pull out the mallet and I'll start whacking. Just get dumber. Oh, drool is coming out now. Put on Nar City. Yeah, I like stupid things. On Monday, November the 16th, the nickname was trending across the site in Canada and the U.S. as Twitter users slammed. Twitter users. It's like everybody thinks the same. We're all so excited about Drake's new album. Yes, we all can't wait. Anybody that writes an article like that deserves to be drawn and quartered. Quite simply. Whatever you do after, I don't care, but start with a good drawn-in quartering. When you say we're all so excited, you don't deserve to have an article, a newspaper, a presence in the media. Because we're all is hive mind programming, of course. It means, it assumes that everybody that's reading your idiotic garbage is all part of the same hive mind. That's what they want you to think. They want you to obey. Bay good. Obey. Bay good. Bay good. Obey. Yeah, obey. So they slammed Musk for questioning the effectiveness, and then tweeting on Friday, Musk wrote, something extremely bogus is going on. We tested for COVID 4 times today. Was tested for COVID 4 times. 2 tests came back negative. 2 came back positive. Same machine, same test, same nurse, rapid antigen test from BD. And then I will never not laugh at Space Karen. Dan Het. So you see how the meme, which is meme is hive mind. So memes are hive mind. That's what hive mind is. Well, let's all think the same. Let's find a South Park meme to express our idiocy. Let's find a Simpsons meme or a Rick and Morty meme. Because why should we think for ourselves? Why should we have the ability to communicate using actual language? Let's just use abbreviations, hashtags, symbols and memes, and let's all just join the idiocracy. So this is what is interesting. Emma Bell, PhD. I love that. Who puts that in their name? Emma Bell, PhD. What does that mean? What does that mean? Of course, they want you to think this is a smart person. This is the Vlogbrothers, they would say. The Vlogbrothers? You ever seen the Vlogbrothers? Have you ever had the extreme misfortune of having to listen to the Vlogbrothers? Imagine if you got on an airplane and you were flying to, I don't know, say you were flying from Chicago to Osaka, Japan. You're going right around the world kind of thing, right? And imagine you sat down next to John Green. I mean, you ever seen the movie Airplane? Right? Where all the people are committing suicide when they're sitting next to the world's most boring man. Could you imagine? I don't even know what I would do. I don't know. There might be an accident in the plane. But John Green, you might be the most boring person that has ever been pushed on humanity. He is the author of Turtles All the Way Down. And he gets featured on YouTube quite often. Quite astonishing. Anyways, so Emma Bell, PhD here. Emma Bell, PhD. Rapid antigen tests trade sensitivity for speed. They return a result in under, hashtag or symbol under, whoops. Well, you're going to see the tweet now. Okay, so here we go. They return a result in under 30 minutes, but can only detect COVID-19 when you're absolutely riddled with it. What's bogus is Space Karen didn't read up on the test before complaining to his millions of followers. Well, right? So this is what you're telling us about the test. She says, you better wake your ass up. So them, theirs, zers. We'll just say them. They. Is that proper? Did I get the right pronoun? They said, a.k.a. Emma Bell, PhD. So they said that rapid antigen tests trade sensitivity for speed. Okay, so they trade sensitivity for speed. Sensitivity is being traded for speed. Okay, let's just see if we can. So we're going to trade the sensitivity of the test for speed. Okay, that's great. So you got a test that works fast but is not very sensitive. Okay, that sounds very efficient, doesn't it? Let's just trade, let's have a test that gets things wrong all the time but is fast. How about that? Is that, yeah, let's do that. So they said that. They, a.k.a. they, Emma Bell, PhD. Yeah. But can only detect COVID-19 when you're absolutely riddled with it. Okay, so if he took 4 tests and 2 of them came back positive and 2 came back negative, then what about the 2 negative tests? What's bogus is that Space Karen didn't read up on the test before complaining to his millions of followers. I guess you got to read your mind control. Where should we go? They, them, theirs, theirs. Where should we go to read about our mind control? Where should we go? ButtFeed? Should we go to ButtFeed? Would ButtFeed be a John Green accredited source? Would Turtles All the Way Down? Would that function? Let's just take a gander here at Emma Bell, PhD. So, non-binary plus queer plus first gen. So, non-binary plus queen plus queer plus first gen. Kind of reminds me of the Disney. So, if we look up Disney, we say Disney plus, I don't know. We get the images, maybe? I think people would know what I'm talking about when you see how Disney, so we'll put Marvel plus Star Wars plus National Geographic. There we go. Yeah, so this is how it works, I guess, in this age here, is you see if you add Disney and you add Pixar, so you put Disney. So you start off with Disney. So we're just going to start off and do simple arithmetic here. We'll start off with Disney. Then we're going to add Pixar. And then we're going to add Marvel. And then we're going to add Star Wars. And then we're going to add National Geographic. Isn't that interesting how that works? Isn't that interesting? One of the biggest corporations arguably, one of the largest most powerful corporations in the history of the world. And this is kind of how it works. So we get back there. Emma Bell. So non-binary plus queer plus first gen. First gen what? First gen. Plus depression, anxiety. Yeah! Superpowers. Woo! Plus depression, anxiety. Well, I don't know, you know. What does that mean? Like, is that what you are? So you're non-binary plus queer plus first gen plus depression and anxiety. Do you think maybe if you subtracted the non-binary, maybe they subtracted the queer? I don't know about the first gen. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up now. First gen. I guess that's the new generation of people. The Center of First Gen Student Success strives to increase research, scholarship, and effective practices during supporting first-gen student success. Okay. That tells me less than nothing. So, a lot of pain and sacrifice, friends murdered in prison, my parents, minus who crossed over the border. So, you're minusing those who crossed over the border from your parents to give us a better life. My journey is for them. For those who couldn't make it, I owe them my absolute best. First gen. You see how amazing our mind control works? I still don't have any clue. Gig them all to your Aggies who are first-gen students. I guess so. I guess it's English. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere in there. As a first-gen assistant professor, I still live paycheck to paycheck. I still don't know what it is. It's a first-gen. Can we ask Google? First-gen. We just find out, what does it mean? First Gen is one of the leading providers in clean renewable power in the Philippines. Okay, well, that still doesn't tell me anything. Maybe I'll put the hashtag before it. First Gen. Then they just show you all the tweets. Congratulations! Congrats! Marissa Lemus. We are so proud of the university of the incarnate word acceptance. Your determination to succeed is inspiring. First Gen. What does it mean to be first gen? According to the U.S. Census Bureau, first generation refers to those who are foreign born. Second generation refers to those who are at least... Okay, so I guess maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Is that what it means? Anyways, so if we do the math here, if we put non-binary plus queer plus first gen plus depression and anxiety, you wonder if maybe you get rid of a few of those things, you wouldn't have the depression and anxiety. It's possible. Then you get this bioinformatics postdoc. And then, like I say, why would anybody write with, right? Like, seriously. Like, this word, like, seriously, with? Like, are you seriously going to do that? Like, why would you do that? Why would you use... Why? What's the matter with you? Why? Why use words? Why? Just do this. That's better. That's better. That's better, for sure. And it doesn't even show you here what it means. But yeah, it means with, I guess. What is this? Daniel DeCarlo, scientist interested in cancer. Oh, yeah, you guys love your cancer. Ovarian cancer, epigenetics, and machine learning. They, them. That's why I was saying the they, them before with this. So it's pretty interesting that this person here did this tweet here. Where was me? I have me here somewhere. Yeah. So this was what I put up on Twitter today. It's like, what more needs to be said? Like, what do you say when you get this type of answer here? Rapid antigen tests, right? You know, so I just put this basic non-binary plus queer plus first gen plus depression and anxiety. Should it be with anxiety? W? It's so insane. Like, do you think maybe they're dumbing down people? Do you think maybe they really want you to be as stupid as possible? It's possible. It's possible. It's possible that these people are trying to make us all into drooling fucktards. It's possible. It's possible. I'm just putting that out there, YouTube community. I mean, but yeah, Emma Bell, PhD, has figured out that if you add non-binary plus queer plus first gen plus depression and anxiety, then you're going to get a PhD. I guess maybe you get the PhD then. Perhaps. It's possible. Anyway, so you just see how the mind control works. This is the tweet that was the big tweet of the day. This was the trending tweet when I got up this morning. This was the one that was all over. And this was where the Karen whole thing, because she called him Space Karen. And everyone went, yeah, Space Karen. Yeah, Space Karen. Space Karen. Space Karen. Space Karen. And that's how it works. All right. So before I go any further, let's take a look at this. I know TMF put this up, so we're going to take a look at this together. El Paso County Jail inmates. So El Paso County Jail inmates helping handle overflow of COVID-19 victims' bodies. Yeah, this is for real, y'all.
Hospitalizations continue to climb for COVID-19. So are the number of deaths. 15 reported today, increasing this week's death toll to 90. New at 10, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office tells ABC7 inmates are helping the El Paso County Medical Examiner's Office to move bodies into mobile morgues.
Yeah!
ABC7's Brianna Chavez joins us live. And Brianna, how long has this been happening? Well, Kate,
I love it. It's so perfect. The hospital is completely empty. There's no one in the parking lot. There's nothing in the emergency room. I bet if you went into that hospital, it would be pristine and clean and completely empty, except for a few sleepy staff that are just kind of got their legs up and whatever, right? Look at this. I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So then they're both wearing the blue. The blue, of course, because the blue won. You know that, right? You get it? Yuck, yuck, yuck.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Office tells me that this has been going on for just a little less than a week. Now, we know that hospital staff all across the borderland are overwhelmed, including at University Medical right behind me, but the county judge is telling me tonight that personnel at the medical examiner's office just a couple of yards away are also exhausted. Now, a warning, some of the images that you're about to see may be disturbing.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be disturbing. Yeah.
It's a temporary opportunity for us to give lend a hand, helping hand to how exhausted some of our personnel and staff are at the medical examiner's office.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Office and El Paso County Judge Ricardo Samaniego tell ABC7 trustee inmates from the county jail are helping the medical
this is for real, y'all.
On a volunteer basis.
This is Brooklyn, folks. This is for real.
Inmates moving bodies
They're taking bodies out.
We're short-handed. People are really tired.
It is short-handed.
Tired.
There's just so many people dying that they let the prisoners out of their cells to help stack the bodies.
it's very, it's a very secure process. These
Very
are
secure.
trustees,
Very
not,
trustworthy.
any
Yeah.
type of inmate.
Trustees are inmates with good behavior
Yeah.
and Class C misdemeanors.
There
The
you
Paso
go.
County Sheriff's Office says 4 to 8 inmates have been assisting every day for 8 hours.
It's all right.
since
Don't
Monday,
show us.
accompanied
Don't.
by
Why?
one
Why
deputy.
would you show us any of the bodies being moved? Why? Who needs to see that? Why would anybody think, oh, this is full of crap? I mean, seriously, those people should be locked up and arrested. Why on earth would you question your mind control? I mean, seriously, obviously it's happening. They showed you some trucks. They showed you some cars driving around. There's no question. There's a guy and he's sitting in his room, I guess, his office. I guess.
2 detention
Yeah.
officers.
Looks
A spokeswoman
looks
for
real.
The department says each inmate is given personal protective
There you go.
equipment.
Oh, there's
while they
something
work
there.
and
Yeah,
stipend.
look at that. You gotta be kidding me. Are they dressed for Halloween? Look at them. They've got the black and white. I mean, it's like the working on the chain gang. That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. I mean, like, what the? Is this Halloween? Is this how prisoners are dressed these days? I mean, I don't know. I mean, usually I see them, they're in the orange jumpers. But I guess when it's Halloween, you do the full black and white sort of thing.
Of $2 an hour, County Judge Samaniego
Yeah,
says
$2.
this is only temporary. The Texas National Guard is expected to come and step in.
Things still go on. People die and have nothing to do with.
And what are they doing, like, too? I mean, look at that. They got these tables. I mean, there's nobody on the tables. I guess the shelves. What's going on? It's just the guy. He's just loafing around in there. I don't know.
Things still go on. People die that have nothing to do with COVID. There are automobile accidents, and life goes on. On top of that, they have these issues. Same thing for the hospitals.
Yeah.
People don't realize that still people are having heart attacks and going into the hospital.
No, people don't realize that. People don't realize that people are still dying. See, people are stupid. And people think that because the coronavirus is happening, that everyone that dies is dying because of coronavirus. And people think that nobody gets heart attacks or cancer or any of this stuff anymore because all they see on the media is coronavirus. So, right? People, they don't realize, like this guy is saying, people don't realize that people are still dying of other causes and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's true. People don't realize that. Because as far as I know, almost everybody that's dying these days seems to be dying of the coronavirus. I don't know how that works, but I guess it's like the flu too. It's like the flu rates are down 98%. It's kind of weird. It's like, why all of a sudden this year is the flu down by 98%? Like, isn't that a bit weird? I don't know. I just take out the mallet. Oh, I feel better. Oh, put on chunk yogurt. Oh, Barbara Starr. I just start feeling better when I pull out that mallet and I start whacking, because I like being an idiot. I like stupid things. I like CNN. I love butt feed. It's my favorite thing in the world. And I just go there and I ask the government every day if they can remove portions of my brain, because I've got too much privilege. I got too much brain right now, and I really think I could donate some of it, to the cafeteria or something. Yeah.
The COVID situation burdening that process.
Yeah.
And there's still no word yet on when the Texas National Guard is expected to come and step in. But the county judge also telling me tonight that there are 145 bodies currently at the medical examiner's office. That includes the regular morgue.
It's just so ridiculous. Anyways, let's move on here. What do we got? We got Elon Musk test positive and negative for coronavirus on the same day. We already covered that. So then we go here, and Moderna, a corporation that's never made anything, but all of a sudden, is worth billions of dollars. All of a sudden, their stock has jumped through the roof. It has many times. In fact, when they announced that they were going to be first financed by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, of course, and this was one of the corporations that we were saying keep an eye on this corporation, and their stock went through the roof then. Their stock is going through the roof right now. And they are saying that their coronavirus vaccine is 94.5% effective. So that's about 3.5% more effective than Pfizer, right? And you could trust these big pharma corporations. They never hurt anyone. No children in Africa or India or anybody anywhere else has ever gotten sick from their vaccines or died. Their vaccines are so trustworthy that you are not allowed to sue them for any damages that you suffer from taking them. That's how look at this. Moderna vaccine progress sends stock markets soaring. Wow. Isn't that awesome? Just awesome. So how close are we to a COVID-19 vaccine? What results from Moderna and Pfizer mean? Well, I mean that you're going to, your governments, they're dangling a carrot in one hand, but they're also saying, no, don't worry. Even if you get the vaccine for, 2-3 years or for eternity, it might as well be you're going to be muzzled because we're going to keep you muzzled. But you might be allowed to go to a baseball game. They might allow you. You'll still have to social distance and all that. And you'll be facial recognized, and you'll be body scanned. You'll be sprayed as you walk through, and your DNA will be taken and everything, And you'll have Melinda put in your body, so, all you guys out there that have been longing for that hair on your chest, or all you women out there that have been longing to get hair on your chest, once you get Melinda in your body, anything is possible, girls. You might, you never know. You might become a world heavyweight boxer for, the opposite sex. Anyways, preliminary results encouraging. Epidemiologists.
Number one, here we are. We had Moderna just moments ago. We had Pfizer last week. We have two companies now saying they have very encouraging. In fact,
do you know what this thing here, her name is? Heather Hiscox. Yeah, I'm not making this up. Her name is Heather Hiscox. Oh, they have a sense of humor. You gotta like that.
Very encouraging results from their vaccine candidate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And these are still the interim analysis, so we'll have to see when the final reports get published. But it looks as if both of these vaccines are going to work, and very likely both of these vaccines are going to be rolling out probably early in 2021 if we expect the final results at some point in December, as has been predicted.
So, yes, they look to be applying for emergency use authorization later on this month and could be coming along stream. Can I look at some of the details here? So this is a vaccine that works like the Pfizer vaccine.
Yeah, that's it.
Like they have the same kind of approach. Awesome. Is that how you're understanding it?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. These are both mRNA vaccines.
Yeah,
which means
awesome. Woo!
Vaccines, the way they
DNA.
work is you take a virus or a bacteria, you either kill it or inactivate it or cut it up, and then you give that to the person via a vaccine. And so then their immune system makes antibodies against that bacteria or virus or that portion of bacteria or virus. The way these vaccines work, which is completely new, rather than giving you a piece or a part or a killed version of the virus.
You get Melinda right in your body. You get Melinda right in your veins, man. Can't you wait? Oh, you can't wait, I bet. You just, I want to be, imagine little girls saying to their parents, I want to be just like Melinda when I get older. And then the father would be like, well, we'll have to get lots of those vaccines in you. You remember to take your vaccines every day. And you could grow up and be just like Melinda. Yeah. Or you could be like Heather Hiscox. Oh, that name never ceases to crack me up. I can't tell you how many times I've laughed my ass off. So yeah, you see the media coming through here. This is your typical Canadian brainwashing corporation. Here's your Inuit suffering because of horrible white people daily assault here. Nunavut woman says she called 911 from Ottawa after being denied water. Denied water. Yeah. Terrible white people, there's no doubt about it. She's holding, I guess, is that a photo of her? I guess you're supposed to, I don't know. And there's Witchmer. Yeah, Witchmer. Yeah, the lizard people. They're bringing out the lizard people again every week, of course. The lizard people. So you see the top stories here. Dr. Deanna Hinshaw will update Albertans on the Great Reset. COVID-19 claims 9 more lives as BC announces. So, yeah, the Loch Ness Monster has swallowed 9 more people as the Sasquatch has terrorized 1,959 new people. It's quite something that's going on. We really got to lock down on the Sasquatch and Loch Ness Monster because they're causing way too much problems these days. Trump's refusal to concede is legally irrelevant. But it could affect U.S. for years. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Isn't that interesting how that whole game is being played out? Oh, and then you had the MAGA Million March, the MAGA Millions, the Million Maggots. Millions of maggots. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good people that fall under the conservative and support Trump. I imagine. They're just not the sharpest blades in the rack, that's all. But yeah, you are being manipulated by the left-right game. I hate to inform you, and I predicted all this would happen. This is exactly what I predicted. I said it would go on for years. I said and this is all a divide and conquer. Understand this. It's all a divide and conquer, because what happens is you're going to have the Biden administration with Kamala Harris, who comes from Westmount, who are going to come in. They're going to do the whole Great Reset. So they're going to do the Agenda 2030. And they're going to turn your kids into trannies. They're going to do all these things. They're going to take away your rights. They're going to destroy private property. They're going to reset the debt. They're going to forgive the debt for the students. They're going to do all this stuff that's going to turn the economy of the United States inside out. And while that's happening, they'll be cheered on by all, and they do this. Okay, so like when you think about it, the way the game is played is like this. Okay. Have you noticed something over the past 100 years in United States politics? We say the left-right game is like a game of tennis, right? It goes back and forth. Who runs the United States? Let's just say, who's the puppet, right? That currently is running the United States is the red team. So what happens is you have to have the red team win and be in control for a little while so that you can have the blue team come in. So that you can have the red team come in, so that you can have the blue team come in, so that you can have the red team come in, right? You understand what's going on? And so you just play this game like a game of tennis back and forth where, okay, we're going to put the blue team in for a little while, and we're going to make everybody pissed off, and then we'll bring in the red team. And then we'll make everybody super pissed off that we'll bring in the blue team, and then we'll make people even more pissed off, so we'll bring back in the red team. And the Americans say, yep, that sounds good. Let's do it. Let's go out and march. Let's go out and protest. Let's go out and burn things down. And meanwhile, the people that run the show are laughing like Bill Gates sitting on Melinda Gates' lap. Yeah. That's the whole game that's being played out. And I'm sorry. Like, I understand that there are people that are going to say that this whole election has been stolen by the demon rats. And I'm going to say to you, I'm going to try to say this politely, that it's all a show. That's what I'm going to try to say to you. I'm hoping that you'll figure this out eventually, that it's all part of exactly how the whole game is played, all right? So, yeah, you see a significant amount of people went out, I don't know if it was 1 million or whatever, to protest in favor of Trump, to call out the election. And on one hand, the people on the right, the red team, if you remember, will come out and say, it's interesting that you see mostly blue there, but the people on the red will come out and say, there was over millions, there was millions, there was tens of millions. They'll say all these things. The people on the blue team will come out and say there was hardly anybody there. It was a complete joke. It was a complete failure. And it doesn't matter what the truth is. It doesn't matter. Just like it doesn't matter if the demon rats stole votes or not. That's all part of the control system. And if you don't like that, there is a guy named Tim Pool. He wears a winter cap in the summertime. And, yeah, I would recommend going to sub his channel. There's also another guy named Mark Schuldeis. If you like the red team. If you like the blue team, go to Tim Pool. He's got a winter cap on all the time. If you like the red team, go to Mark Schuldeis. Those guys will help you out. They'll keep you on those teams. They'll keep you cheering and shouting and getting angry and whatever. In Trump, they trust, and then you just see, it's such a waste of time, but it's still worthy of pointing out. This is interesting, too, with the Moderna. So, like, what I find most interesting is the picture here. So, Moderna says its coronavirus vaccine appears to be 94.5%. In fact, imagine they came out and they said 96.6%. I almost wish they would. I wish they would make it so utterly obvious. Rival Pfizer announced last week its own vaccine appeared similarly effective. So isn't this interesting? Look at this screenshot that they show. of this person being injected who has all this really nasty looking tattoos. I guess they're tattoos, body art put on. And it can't quite make out what exactly. There's like an old gnarly tree, and so the tree symbolism is there. And I'm not sure, I mean, if this is like a worm or something. I don't know what's going on here, but it just, like, as soon as I saw this, I was like, man, that's kind of nasty looking. Now, when you think about it, getting Melinda put in your body is not going to be a great thing for you. Unless you're a gal and you want hair on your chest. I don't know. But this kind of makes me feel like even worse just looking at it. It's like, yeah, like that's, to me too, also the mentality of the person with the hideous body art. Because that's not, like, I agree there's tasteful tattoos. And then there's just nasty looking tattoos. This is just nasty looking tattoos. It's like grade school art scribbling sort of tattoos. And it just looks nasty. And it's like, it just feeds into how, how twisted they'll likely make us. Now, again, I have speculated several things with the vaccines. I've said that it could just be a placebo in the first round. That they could easily do this, where it's just a placebo, right? And it reinstores or debunks any sort of fear in vaccines, because they could give everyone just a placebo or a placebo-like thing, right? And then, the results are really positive and all this. But the doctors say we need 2 doses or whatever. And then eventually on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th dose down the line, then you might get the Melinda in your body at that point in time. It's possible. Or they could just give you the DNA. They say the mRNA, which is what we'll be talking about. I'm doing a show by the way, this Wednesday on Jeff C. Live. Please make sure you're subscribed to Jeff C. Live, because if you're not subscribed, you missed the group shows that I do and the shows with people like my good friend Camille. So please stop the ride. We're doing a show on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So really looking forward to that. And we talk about all of this, the mRNA vaccines, which go into your cells. And then it's like a DNA altering type vaccine. These are what they're saying with the new vaccines that they're developing. We talk about the nanotech that they're putting into these vaccines. So these aren't your granddaddy's vaccines. These are radically different. Now, some people would say that these vaccines are going to be used to wipe out humanity, or completely destroy us or give us cancers and all these things. I really don't know. I don't know what's in the vaccines, and I don't know what exactly, it could be. Again, it could be for the first few doses that you get, they're just placebos to get you to, it's okay, it's safe, nothing happened, I didn't turn into Melinda. Bill Gates, not so bad. Look at all the crazy conspiracies. I'm not going to listen to conspiracy theories anymore. I'm going to take my vaccines every day. I'm going to go through portals and get sprayed on and get injected and, eat my Soylent Green and not complain and give up all my rights and buy into the police state, because I'm going to feel morally safer, of course. And so there's a lot of possibilities with this. It could be red herrings that they give us initially. It's possible, folks, because this is a global coup d'etat. Now, what they want, ultimately is population control. I think is the biggest objective, I would say, would be population control. I would say that if people were to ask me about the New World Order and say, what's the number one objective? I would say population control starting, but also the transhumanist sort of conversion of humans, the blurring of the lines, the blending of the sexes, blurring the lines between man and machine, which is Elon Musk plays a big role in that whole conversion sort of thing. But they radically want to depopulate the planet. There's no question about that. So, again, it doesn't mean that the vaccines that are coming are going to be for that specific purpose. And it could be something that's a sleeper thing. It could be that they put out vaccines that they don't activate for a long time. Some people would speculate that the 5G sort of networks that are being laid out will interact with the nanoparticles that have been put into the vaccines, and that will come years down the road. And then one day they'll just flip a switch, maybe you'll start You'll start to Billie Eilish, you'll start vomiting black goo or something, or you'll just all of a sudden I will comply. You'll be like the people on the Stretch Armstrong show where they get the freaking quantum dot tattoos, which is so disturbing because the episode was called The New Normal. It came out a few years ago. Both myself and TMF and several other people have covered it as well. I don't know what's left on YouTube, but I'll try to get that back up somewhere. But yeah, they show in the cartoon that all these people get the quantum dot tattoos, and that the quantum dot tattoos contain all their information, so they no longer have to use cash to buy anything, and they're going to the coffee shops and the stores and everything, and they're allowed access to everything, and all their vaccines are in there. And then one day the evil people flip the switch, and all the people all of a sudden are part of a hive mind collective that are ordered to do whatever they're ordered to do, sort of thing. So it's hard to know. So I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I would be wary. And when I see stuff like this, it makes me more wary, right? I wish I could see the full tattoo kind of thing. Anyways, so yeah, Hadju here, who is the chief medical officer here in Canada, Hadju is asked about Moderna COVID vaccine reportedly doing well in testing.
The fact that we now have 2 promising vaccines, and both that Canada has options to purchase, as you know, is good news, but it is also early news. There are a number of steps that have to be completed with any vaccine to make sure that it is, in fact, safe for Canadians, and that's the work that's happening now. We also are working, as you know, with provinces and territories to make sure we can distribute these vaccines across the country, and it is, again, a Team Canada approach.
Team Canada!
Territories are working out their
distribution. Yo, Team Canada!
The federal government is working out our distribution.
What about team diversity? Can't just say it's a diverse approach. It's a globalist approach, of course. This was the same person that came out and threatened to lock up people when the whole scamdemic started, saying that they were going to use their power to go and start locking people up and forcing people. So it's quite something. And again, well, let's move on. I think you see enough of that. Coronavirus, what's happening Monday, right? Nunavut. Okay, so people are telling me about Nunavut here. None of it. So one of the things the BBC, I'll just put this out. I showed this before, but I'll bring it up again. BBC Nunavut COVID, right? So you see this? I showed this weeks back here. See the date here, October the 19th. The place in North America with no cases. This is the way that they do these things because they want you to buy into what they want, which is full-on surveillance, police state, no freedom, mandatory vaccines, everything that you've seen but worse, right? And so they create these narratives and then they throw them out, and then the BBC had this on their front page for ages. Probably still up there. It's probably still up there because that's the way they want you to see this. And then they say, look, there's a region that doesn't have them, and there's a reason why. When they say China did well. China did well. China, they said this in the Rockefeller documents, the lockstep there, where they were saying, because they're talking about the hypothetical sort of pandemic, scamdemic, and that the countries with the most authoritarian sort of control system managed the scamdemic the best because their totalitarian sort of powers enabled them to lock down society, and therefore that's the way we need to go. So seeing that, you saw that they had no cases, or so they claim. That's the story, right? And so they show Nunavut. Now, nobody goes to Nunavut. Nobody. I mean, absolutely nobody. The only people that go to Nunavut are the occasional politician to bullcrap the natives, and people that do, some construction or something, right, up there, because they'll build homes and stuff for people and all that, right? But nobody goes up there. I mean, it's so far away. But they managed to not have any COVID because they put a full lockdown where they don't allow anybody to come in, basically. They say there's 2 weeks you have to wait to get in, and this is the kind of whole, like, you're not allowed to go in there. You're only allowed to go in there if you're a resident, And then if you're a resident, you still have to isolate for like 2 weeks. So they were isolating people before they even got on a plane kind of thing as well. So you see here, residents returning home from the south would first have to spend 2 weeks at a Nunavut government's expense in isolation hubs, detention centers, hotels in the city of Winnipeg, Yellowknife, Ottawa, or Edmonton. Security guards are stationed throughout the hotels, and nurses check in on the health of those isolating. To date, just over 7,000 Nunavummiut. Where do they come up with this crap? Nunavummiut have spent their time in these hubs as a stopover to your psychological programming, police state, quarantine, detention center programming. So every one of these 7,000 people that went through this, you are a victim of the hideous. I mean, you should think about suing the Canadian government for forcing you, violating your constitutional rights. Absolutely, 110% violation of your constitutional rights. They have no authority to lock you up, ever. They have no authority. Zero, zilch. So you have complied with tyranny. Might want to get yourself a good lawyer. I would highly encourage it. A mass class action lawsuit. But this doesn't just extend here. This is all over. So, seeing that and going back here. Where were we? Not there. Here. So Nunavut initiating 2-week lockdown due to COVID-19.
Overnight, we confirmed 6 new cases of COVID-19 in Aviat and 2 in Rankin Inlet. So although, as the Premier said, the total was 18 yesterday, as of today it is 26 cases of COVID-19 in Nunavut. Our public health and rapid response teams are working around the clock to trace and test in efforts to track and contain the virus. Through our investigations, we have concern that COVID-19 may spread to additional communities, which is why we are initiating a territory-wide lockdown with restrictions similar to what we saw in March and April. We are taking these steps for at least the next 2 weeks to prevent further spread of COVID-19. Effective Wednesday and territory-wide, all gatherings are restricted to 5 people, and there shall be no gatherings in homes. All for-profit and not-for-profit businesses must close, with the exception of grocery stores, fuel and motor vehicle service stations, Canada Post, and financial institutions. Restaurants may open for takeout services only. All schools, including Nunavut Arctic College, federal, territorial, and municipal government offices, must close to all but essential work. Schools will be providing remote learning options. Personal services like hairstylists, masseuse, and the like must close. All sporting organizations are suspended. Fitness centers, gymnasiums, and pools are closed. Libraries, museums, and galleries are closed. To protect our elders, all visitation to elder centers and long-term care centers is on hold for at least 2 weeks unless approved by the public health physician on call. We also ask that elders closely monitor themselves for any signs of the virus and call their health center immediately.
So you're just getting the same playbook that's being played out, albeit in this remote area. So this is what it looks like in, this is Arviat, Nunavut. Now you think about it, I gotta say, I'm gonna feel really sorry for these people, because gatherings would be one of the ways to get it through the winter. These people a lot of them don't live the lifestyle of their ancestors, unfortunately, because their ancestors were amazing. And I'm not saying these people aren't amazing. I'm just saying that they have been perverted by the New World Order or they've been, unfortunately, they have succumbed to the New World Order. Like all of us, though. We're all in the same boat to a certain extent. So they spend most of their time indoors, whereas in the past, the winter season is actually a busy hunting season for a lot because of the the activity on the animals, because you see the animals, for instance, the polar bears do most of their hunting in the wintertime, because that's when most of the prey is available and the ice is available for them to operate on, sort of thing. So it's a different lifestyle now. Now the lifestyle is sitting in home and watching your mind control, sort of thing. So now they're total lockdown, basically. But this is very similar to what we have here in Montreal, Stan. All right, so then we got this. The Witchmer here, oh my gosh, a.k.a. Diana. Michigan governor calls Trump advisors' call to rise up against COVID-19 or COVID restrictions incredibly reckless. Of course, Governor Witchmer, who was installed for this, like just recently installed just before this whole thing went down. A lot of these politicians were strategically positioned right in the year before this whole thing went down, or the year or two before, kind of thing. And this is one of them. And Witchmer here, of course. So Trump is playing his role, saying, resist the restrictions, and this is what the MAGA people will do. And in theory, I do agree with that, but I don't agree with the controlled left-right paradigm, and this is what I warn people about, because it always works this way. If you haven't caught on already, whenever Trump would come out and say, "Oh, it's a hoax," or it's not really a pandemic. And then Trump would have a gathering, and then all of his staff would get the coronavirus. He would get the coronavirus himself. So how would the whole scenario play out in the left media? The left-right paradigm is the left media would come out and say, "Look at all these people," New York Times, Washington Post, the CNN, and all that. They say, "Look at the Trumps. Look at they first they deny it. They say it's not real. Then they say, oh, it's not a pandemic, or it's or it's almost over, or they're gonna get through it, no time, and then they're getting together, they're gathering, they're not wearing masks, they're having their political rallies, and then everybody gets sick." Understand how the game is played. Trump and his cohorts, right, are used endlessly for this purpose. It's the left-right game, the red-blue. It's never going to change, folks, as long as we allow it. As long as we allow them to control us, they're going to use this system because it's perfect. So Trump is going to do the things that they're going to use it as an example, and they're going to say he does everything wrong. And even though, in theory, you might agree with Trump on some of what he says, don't make a mistake that Trump isn't an actor playing his role, first and foremost, right? Understand that he's playing his role. He's an actor without any doubt. Without any doubt in my mind, he is a complete actor playing his role. But you might agree with what comes out of his mouth a lot of times, and you might agree with those people that are on that side of the left-right paradigm. I understand that. And sometimes they're going to say things that you totally agree with, and sometimes they're going to share things that are totally legit because it helps push that narrative. But ultimately, it's part of a controlled paradigm, and ultimately, they're playing a role. And so when Trump tells you to do this, it's perfect left-right divide and conquer. And this is why you've got Witchmer. She's dressed in blue, of course, coming out and saying, this is terrible. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said Monday that she has the authority to issue a second stay-at-home order to curb the spiking coronavirus if necessary, and called a comment by an advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump urging people to rise up against Michigan's latest restrictions incredibly reckless. The Democratic demon-ratic governor spoke with Capitol reporters a day after announcing limits amid the surge of COVID-19 cases that has led to an increase of hospitalizations and death, yada, yada, yada. Other Midwest states are facing similar second waves as weather cools, and she has urged the public to double down with precautions to avoid a shelter in place. So what happens is Trump plays that game, and then the demon rats come in and say, well, because Trump did this, because the MAGA people got together, All these cases, look at the numbers. Look at the phony numbers that we're going to show you up on CNN. Look at the bloodstain map. Look at Sanjay Gupta. You can trust him, right? Look at Anderson, Pooper, Scooper, Vanderbilt. You can trust these people. They're going to tell you that, oh, it's the concern. Look at the narrative, folks. How comes none of the demon rats get the coronavirus, and then all the red people get the coronavirus? How comes none of the red people? How comes Trump never comes out and says, oh, it's bullcrap. I don't feel sick at all. I think this whole thing is garbage. Why doesn't he say that? No, because he's playing his role. He'll come out and say things halfway and say, yeah, this is all overblown or these restrictions are too far, but he won't come out and call it out because that's... And again, what I showed, too, with the doctors, the frontline doctors and all those characters that would get up, and the lady from Nigeria, the doctor from Nigeria who believes that aliens are running the government and stuff like that. And I'm trying to show you how the narrative is played. And they come out and they say these restrictions are, don't wear a mask, these restrictions are tyrannical and awful, and we shouldn't be doing this. And they have the epidemiologists there. Remember the guys from California, the 2 doctors there from California that were freedom fighters, right? But what happens at the end of the day? Those doctors, right, those frontline doctors, and you know the characters I'm talking about because I covered them many times, they don't come out and tell you the whole thing is a scam. They still tell you, oh, we need more testing. That's the solution. We just have to have a lot more testing. Dr. Erickson. I just remembered his name, for instance. Right? So instead of coming out and calling the whole thing what it is, they still make you buy into it. They just say, oh, they're taking it way too far. So it plays out perfectly. And they also say the vaccine is a solution. They're also saying, or they'll say hydroxychloroquine is a solution, right? They'll push, oh, we can just take hydroxychloroquine, which is all part of a controlled narrative that they have laid out for 20 plus years. And there's a whole narrative that QAnon and many others have pushed, right? That the hydroxychloroquine is the solution. When the Ebola thing was happening, you know what it was? It was what's it called there? The silver. I can't remember, right? The liquid silver thing that you take, right? They were saying all of that sort of thing. So, there's always these. Like, there's always going to be the big problem and then the 2 sides and how they deal with the big problem. Of course, the Hegelian dialectic is all about the problem, reaction, solution. So really, the things that we should be by far the most concerned about are all the solutions to everything. Every problem that they have, right? Every problem that they have, all the major problems that we face, that they tell us that we face, that is what we call the Hegelian dialectic, meaning that they create these problems in order to bring in the solutions. So the solutions are always what you should be the most concerned about. Solutions like authoritarian tyranny, right? Lockdown, surveillance state, mandatory vaccines, all these things, those are all solutions. And this is what they've done. They've created the world's biggest problem. They've made everybody in the world suffer to a certain extent, except the scumbags that are behind this. And then they make you beg for the solution. They make you think that, wow, once the solution comes around, then finally we'll be able to get back to work and back to normal. But there is no normal. It's a new normal. And they've been coding this new normal for decades. And the new normal is their new world order, a.k.a. Agenda 21. And this is what they're bringing in. It's the Great Reset. So is Trump exposing the Great Reset? And why isn't he? Are you telling me that amongst his staff that he doesn't have people that could do investigative work? I mean, they're so tightly connected to QAnon, and even QAnon pushes the Great Reset. How is it that Trump's never talking about the Great Reset? Well, because he's all part of the act. That's how it works. Anyway, so we'll move on from that. Here's the British Brainwashing Corporation. Biden, people may die as Trump transition stalls. So people may die. Well, I don't know. Right? Do people still die? Is it only people die of coronavirus? Right? People may die. People are dying right now because they're not getting proper medical treatment. Not for the scamdemic, but for whatever they may be ailing from. Right? Cancer treatments, just regular checkups, right? Heart disease, all these things are not being dealt with. So many more people are actually dying because of the neglect of the hospitals who have shifted all their priorities over to COVID. That's why it's so imperative that everyone film their hospitals. Even if it's just for posterity, film your hospitals. The world needs to know the truth about what's going on. If they're telling you their hospitals are overloaded, go and check it out. Find out. Find out. That's what they don't want you to do. And everybody that has gone to do this, nobody, every single person has gone to film the hospitals. That's why it's the most censored thing on YouTube. The one thing that they will not allow you to show is filming your hospitals. They will not show you. When they showed you Elmhurst, and we showed this, we showed Elmhurst Hospital, and they're saying the epicenter. Donald Trump came out and said this himself. I remember, I showed it. You know, Elmhurst Hospital, and I'm really close, and, you know, and then he said one of his good buddies died at Elmhurst Hospital, and I was like, that you're full of crap. You're lying 100%, lying through your teeth. And they're saying, oh, the staff is overrun. The very next day, people were going to that hospital and filming it. It was absolutely empty. There was nobody in the lineups. There was nobody there, period. And people were going inside and screaming, where are all the people? Where are all the sick people, right? Reality is they don't want you to know what's going on in the hospitals. They want you to pay attention to the fear porn in the media and think that everything that the media is saying is actually happening. It's going to get a lot worse so that you buy into the solutions, of course. What else we got here? So Biden, of course, new curbs as COVID-19 cases surpasses 11 million. Is this COVID wave in U.S. the worst yet? No, the third or fourth wave will be worse. The second dude in the White House, which we covered, and they still got it up on their front page here, this guy. I won't say anything else. We're not allowed to talk about those people. And then look at this. Is COVID the worst? There's Facebook removes racist posts about Kamala Harris. Is it racist? What does racist mean? Right? Because, like, what does it mean? What does anti-Semitic mean? Right? Like, what do these things mean? They say racist, but what were the posts actually about? Maybe we'll take a quick look at that. I haven't had a chance to look at it. What a fraud this character is, though. A complete fraud. They'll say she's a black woman, but she's actually half Indian, right? So in India, she's an Indian woman, but in America, she's a black woman, right? And then they'll say all these amazing things about this character, and then they'll show this is her ancestral village. Well, she came from Westmount. And again, I pointed this out. Westmount in Canada is the richest borough in all of Canada. It's here in Montreal. It's the richest borough in the entire country, the highest level of income. So when you come from Westmount, you come from, silver spoon up your twat, right, kind of area. So Facebook has taken down a string of racist, misogynist, again, like these terms, misogynistic memes and comments about U.S. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. And again, when it comes to social media people, like big-time media people, if it's some Joe, nobody or some Miss, whatever, that's different. But when you're a social media, when you're the vice president or the vice president-elect of the United States, you're open season. People should be able to say whatever they want to say about you, right? In my humble opinion, because that's freedom of speech. But of course, social media corporations love Borat. They love their hideous creatures from the deepest pits of hell who tell them that we should eliminate freedom of speech in every way, shape, and form. Sacha Baron Cohen, of course. So yeah, Facebook says it takes down 90% of hate speech before it's flagged. 90%. So what are they using, right? One media monitoring body described the pages dedicated to propagating racist and misogynistic smears. And again, a lot of times when these comments are laid and made, it's like BitChute, for instance, because BitChute, I don't think it uses it now, but for years they were using this. They were using Discuss. So Discuss was a corporation headed out of, I think, Tel Aviv. And what would happen is the comments on my videos would be, again, like I believe in freedom of speech, but the comments on my videos would be all about a certain people, right, being responsible for everything. So the way that it would look to the average person is that these are racist people, and these are, right? Terrible Nazis and stuff like that. But I wonder who really writes those comments, if you follow my gist, right? You wonder if maybe, you know, A200 might not be involved in writing a lot of this stuff in order to create the problem, in order to bring in the solution, which is more censorship. You understand? So it's very important for people to always realize this. It's like when you see white supremacist gang plotting to kidnap Governor Whitmer, which is all garbage. It's a Disney story, basically, right? It's the FBI that were involved in setting the whole thing up anyways, to start with. But they want you to buy into this narrative that white supremacy is a legitimate threat in the United States, so that they will justify their extreme censorship of the internet and of just people in general. And that'll legitimize the destruction of freedom of speech. Because they like, freedom of speech is so important. I don't even know how I could stress this enough. And I believe in fully that freedom of speech is the right for somebody else to say something that might be the most offensive thing that you could possibly imagine. Now, that doesn't mean terrorizing or targeting people and you know, harassing them endlessly and all that. But it means being able to express your opinion on things, even if it seems hateful and racist to other people. Because the alternative is totalitarianism, and that's how it works. It's a slippery slope, and we can see it happening all around us with these purges that have happened, you know, all the channels that have been taken off of YouTube. You know, it's funny, over the past few weeks, since the big purge, I've gotten 0 subscribers. In fact, I've lost hundreds of subscribers, maybe more. And I was thinking, oh, that's, you know, whatever. I don't really care about that. But, you know, I was thinking, yeah, it's interesting that my subscribers count keeps going down. And I theorized that it's because of all these accounts that are being purged, basically, that so many thousands of accounts have been purged that a lot of these people were subscribed to my channel. And that they're just wiping out freedom of speech. So, yeah, So anyways, low-hanging fruit here. Let's see what they said here. I want to see if they give an example. However, desperate the pages being places where hate speech is regularly directed towards the vice president-elect, Facebook said it would not take action on the groups itself. Media Matters. So Media Matters is David Brock, if you don't know. He was the former boyfriend of James Alefantis, who owned Comet Ping Pong Pizza from the Pizzagate thing. So Media Matters president Angela Caruson said, Facebook's removal of this content only after it's been flagged to them by the media confirms that the rules and guidelines they establish are hollow because they put little to no effort in detection and enforcement. So Sacha Baron Cohen would agree wholeheartedly with this statement. If you're a fan of Borat, you're a bad person, because you're not paying attention to what that absolute abominable person is doing. His speech at the ADL was one of the most wretched things I've ever listened to. And it called for a destruction of freedom of speech. It was calling for all the social media groups to ban all hate speech. What is hate speech anyways? Well, who defines what hate is? And why shouldn't we have hate? You can't have love without hate. You can't have light without dark. You know, you can't, these things don't exist, right? This is the reality. If people want to hate things, let them hate things. That's healthier to let them hate things than to have them, you know, resort to extreme sort of actions in order to, vent their hatred. So it's like, if somebody wants to be racist towards a certain group of people, what you would deem racist, say, for instance, or if somebody said, somebody has strong anti-immigration sentiments, and then they take it out on an immigrant, right? I'm not in favor of that behavior, but I am in favor of that person being able to express themselves without verbally assaulting people, and to the extent where it's you're assaulting the person. But I think people have to have a backbone first and foremost, and I think that obviously hate speech is all been it's a weaponized term that has been designed to destroy freedom of speech. It's all about totalitarianism. So wiping out hate speech is actually evil. It's the opposite. Wiping out hate speech is actually creating hate. Wiping out hate speech is all about destruction of freedom of speech. It's extremely evil. I cannot even stress this enough, because we've been down this road many times as a species, having to deal with this type of totalitarianism, and it never ends well. It never ends well when they try to implement that type of control system. So the people that are responsible for the hate speech, and again, what are the quote unquote non-profit organizations that finance and, you know, that are behind all the hate speech campaigns? Well, the ADL, ACLU, right? So so we're talking about the lowest. We're talking about the lowest of low-hanging fruit from a detection perspective. This is from the person from Media Matters. And yet, these escape Facebook's notice until flagged by a third party. And again, Section 230, which Trump has threatened to revoke, which now, of course, he probably won't. But Section 230 means that Facebook is not responsible for anything that's posted on. They can't be held liable for anything. Just like all the big pharmaceutical corporations that have managed to engineer that there's no liability for any sort of ill sort of effects from their vaccines. The pages included accusations that Ms. Harris was not a U.S. citizen because her mother was from India and her father from Jamaica. So think about that. That's hate speech. I want you to think about this. So what the BBC and Media Matters has described as hate speech are accusations that Ms. Harris? I thought she was officially married. Am I wrong about that? What did we just show you with the BBC? Showed you that article. The second dude here. Are they not officially linked? Just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So it's Ms. Harris. Yeah, it's Ms. Harris' husband. But how is she Ms? She'd be Mrs. The games that these people play. So anyways, so they included accusations that Ms. Harris was not a U.S. citizen because her mother was from India and her father was Jamaica. So she's not a U.S. citizen. Well, then you just debunk. If somebody says that's not a real U.S. citizen because her mother's from Jamaica and her mother's from India and her father's from Jamaica, then you can say, well, yes, technically she is a U.S. citizen because here's her U.S. citizenship. You use intellect and facts to counteract that. You don't say that's hate speech. That's somebody's opinion. It might be wrong. People get things wrong. And you could say, technically, I guess, I'm not going to know for sure, but I'm going to say technically I would think that Ms. Harris is actually a U.S. citizen. Whereas, you know, people would say there's evidence to suggest that Obama was not even a U.S. citizen and stuff. I'm not going to get into that. But let's just say technically she is. Then those people that put out that are saying more or less that she's not a real U.S. citizen. She's not a real U.S. citizen because she wasn't born here. And then that would be 99 or 90% of the world. If you were to go to 90% of the world, if you were to go to Angola, if you were to go to Burundi, if you were to go to Thailand, if you were to go to, North Korea, Russia, if you were to go to any of these countries and you were to take somebody who wasn't born in the country, who emigrated at some point in time, and you were to put them in the highest position of office, there would be a huge percentage of the population that would say that's not a real Russian, that's not a real Angolan, it's not a real Burundian, it's not, and what, would they all be hate speech, or is that just an opinion of these people? You could even argue that, yeah, maybe there's some merit behind that opinion. Maybe we shouldn't have dual citizens in office. It's possible. In fact, I think that's a dangerous thing, to have dual citizens in office, because it's a conflict of interest. Which country you're serving. If you swear an oath to the American Constitution, then you're swearing an oath to that country. That means you have pledged your allegiance. But if you've pledged allegiance to another flag, then who are you actually serving? So this is a major problem. So again, what is the hate speech? Well, what they're deeming as hate speech is people are questioning her nationality. Is that really hate speech? Even if they're wrong technically, is it hate speech? You see the slippery slope, of course. Others suggested she was not black enough. So there's another one, not black enough. Well, you could say that. You know, I mean, some people, black people would have an opinion on Kamala Harris saying, well, she's not really black. Would that be racist if a black person had that opinion? What if a black person had an opinion about Obama and said that they're not really black, or Obama's not really black, right? Say a black person, let's say hypothetically for a second, a black person had that opinion. Would that be racist? They're a black person. So what would happen if a white person thought that? Well, now you're a white supremacist. Now you're a neo-Nazi. Now you're this, that, and everything else. You're hate speech. Well, wait a second. Why is it different rules? Why is it that a black person would be allowed to say those things, but a white person? Well, because the people that control our media and our governments are not straight shooters, to say politely. So another post said she should be deported to India. So what? So what? Who cares? You don't think people said nasty things about Theodore Roosevelt? You don't think people said nasty things about John F. Kennedy? You don't think people said nasty things about, even Abraham Lincoln? Or you can bet your bottom dollar they said a lot of nasty things about Abraham Lincoln. You don't think, like, throughout history, people, if you're in public office, people are going to say nasty things about you. And is that even that nasty? Deported to India? I mean, it's not like they're saying you should be drawn and quartered, which I am joking when I do say that. I don't really mean it, but I think most people understand that. Oh, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Anyways. Well, I mean, like, it's deported to India. Well, that's hate speech. What? Is it hate speech? Really? Why is it hate speech? You could say, I don't like that speech. You can say that's foul. You can even say, well, I think that's racist. Well, fine, but that's your opinion. Is it hate speech? I disagree. I think it's freedom of speech, and I think people should be allowed to say these things about public figures. And several memes, her name is mocked. Who cares? Good, fine. I mean, what, Trump isn't mocked? Now, think of the hypocrisy, of course, with Trump, who is... You could say anything you want about Trump. You could say, I want him murdered, I want him beaten to death, I want to see him... tortured, I want to see whatever. Facebook's never going to censor you for that. But if you question Ms. Harris's nationality, well, we can't accept that. You're hate speech. I mean, it's just so evil. One of the pages had 4,000 members and another 1,200. Oh my gosh, shudder to think. How many people tune into the BBC every day? A series of other sexually graphic and misogynist submissions were also removed. That's what happens when you're a big-time public figure. People are going to do those things. Grow a thicker skin. You know what? A real politician, do they exist? Let's just say a real person who becomes a worldwide celebrity would not have, who is really, has integrity and is worth their weight in salt, this would be water off their back. They would laugh it off. And in fact, if anything, they could take that and use it and say, yeah, so it shows you, they got to, because you could say those things are immature. And I would agree. Yeah, it's immature. Make a, whatever. I don't even care, right? I'm not going to weigh in because I don't even see the examples. But you just see how this works, right? I want everybody here to realize something, because it's so important. If we don't stand up to this, if we don't stand up to this destruction of freedom of speech, right? Look, the social media giants are all part of this great reset, and everything that they're doing is to bring about this totalitarian hive mind, new world order, where nobody can think. All your thoughts are collected, recorded. All your dreams are recorded. You have no privacy. You have no ownership of anything. You live in a communist dictatorship, which is like the Matrix plus New World Order plus Brave New World plus all these things put together to the nth degree. There's no end to the level of tyranny that they want to. If you haven't figured this out yet, I mean, please go and subscribe to Penguin Zoo and just, collect Pokemon cards. All right? Seriously, if you haven't figured out how far this is going to go. I mean, I don't even know how far it's going to go, but I'm telling you, if you can't see the writing on the wall, if you can't wake up and smell the coffee that's happening all around you, right? If you can't see how tyrannical 2020 has been, you're just not fit to be, you're not a critically thinking human being, period. That's all. I'll be diplomatic. And then you see this. Look at this. Stop the hate. So previously, spread hate. They just call it hate. Well, it's okay to hate Trump. In fact, the media hates Trump every day and puts out all this toxic stuff on Trump. But if it's Ms. Harris, well, right? Previously, other campaigners have told BBC News racism and hate speech is not picked up by Facebook's internal moderation tools and in some situations even promoted. Rashad Robinson from Stop the Hate for Profit campaign told BBC News, stop the hate for profit. They're not even non-profit, they're for profit. told the BBC News Facebook had created a set of algorithms to incentivize people to spread hate. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, sure he does. Facebook's own civil rights audit in August said the company had made vexing and heartbreaking decisions about hate speech that represented significant setbacks for civil rights. And last week, one of Joe Biden's senior aides attacked Facebook over its handling of conspiracy theories, calls to violence and disinformation in the days following the U.S. election. Our democracy is on the line, tweeted the president-elect's deputy press secretary. Oh, yeah, their democracy is on the line. You people, the last people on planet Earth that believe in democracy, right? You believe in the opposite. You want to wipe it out. I mean, that's the biggest joke about all of this, is that these people, oh, our democracy is threatened. No, yeah, first of all, you don't have a democracy. You're a republic. Second of all, it's all bullshit anyways. Third of all, you people are the ones that are actively trying to destroy any form of democracy that might actually exist. In fact, we ought to just throw that term out of the window because it's so meaningless in this day. You look at the demon rats. They call themselves the Democratic Party, and they're the biggest bunch of scumbags that have ever existed. Anyways, let's move on from that. Then, what else have we got here? CNN, same story. Biden, people may die as... No, this is CNN. Sorry, that's BBC. You can barely tell them apart. Trump aims to undermine Biden's legitimacy as legal challenge fizzle. Look at this. Wear a mask, pass it on. So you don't pass it on. Fight COVID-19. Learn to make your own mask here. Learn to make your own mask. Let's see where this is. CDC, the presenter. So what has CNN got on their top thing, their top ad? It says ad here. And it's actually the CDC itself. The use of masks helps slow the spread of COVID-19. I wear a mask because... Unbelievable. Just pure New World Order propaganda. And there you see. What do they show you? The MAGAs, all together, nobody's masked, everybody's cheering. And they'll just say... Use this as an example. Again, this is hive mind thinking, period. If you're part of this collective of MAGA, you could say it's the lesser of two evils, but is it really? And secondly, you're just part of a hive mind collective as well. The real solution is a third party. Well, it'd be many parties, but a third party that would come in that would not be affiliated with the New World Order in any way, shape, or form, or the corporatocracy that controls it. Like they had in the mid-1800s when they had the anti-Freemasonic Party. That's what the United States needs. And so you need a new party with a completely anti-globalist platform and absolute... Again, I don't know. Like the real solutions, right? I mean, like that's a pipe dream, right? Is going to happen. But the reality is, this is how it works. The game is played out. So you see the photo here, and the photo's shown, and this could be from any of their events, doesn't really matter. And you just see they're not complying, they're not wearing masks, they've all got the red on, and they're all shouting. They're all making the fists, too. Isn't that ironic? Well, they're not all making the fist, but you see this one here is making a kind of a fist sort of thing. It's like this one here is making a fist, right? The other one's holding up. So even as his legal path to challenging Biden's electoral victory narrows, Trump shows little indication he plans to back off his false claim that he won the election. That you can see the bias instantly. But it's all part of a controlled system. That's all it is. It's a controlled system. And this is just your fake media. All these people need to be arrested. CNN, honestly, the crimes that these corporations have committed against humanity are incalculable. The real enemy of humanity is the beast media. The fake left-right paradigm. The beast media that deceives and programs the masses on a daily basis is the enemy of humanity. CNN is the enemy of humanity, without question. without any hesitation, CNN is an enemy of humanity. That's all. But so is Fox News. It's all controlled. All right, let's move on here. What do we got? U.S. governors warn of dark winter. All your dark winter programming that incessantly has been popping up everywhere. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. Why do you think they're telling you all this stuff? Psychological gaslighting, predictive programming, learned helplessness. All these things are coming through. So let's take a look at the video here.
It's just not safe. And it might not be safe for a while yet.
A dire warning this week from Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers as the coronavirus pandemic rages across the U.S. New COVID-19 infections hit a record 142,279 on Wednesday, the 8th day above the 100,000 mark, according to a Reuters tally. The number of hospitalizations also surged to a record of at least 64,939.
Again, if you're new to my work and you're new to media manipulation, this is pure media manipulation. The media is the worst enemy that humanity's ever faced. The deception levels of the media are... This has been my specialty since I've been doing this type of work for nearly a decade. I'm telling you, the media manipulates almost everything you see. So when you see this type of stuff, you see somebody being taken in a stretcher, you have no idea what that means. They want you to think, oh, it's coronavirus and people are dying. But there's no proof. There's no way you should ever believe anything that comes off the media. I'm telling you this straight up. You should never believe anything that comes off the media, period. This type of manipulation where they show you these things, they'll show you hospital rooms, they'll show you people getting stuff shoved up their nose, African-American women, right? This is all your manipulation. It's all to convince you that the emperor has clothes, right? They want you to believe the whole invisible bug is here to get you. So it's just appeal to fear.
On Wednesday, the 8th day above the 100,000 mark, according to a Reuters tally. The number of hospitalizations also surged to a record of at least 64,939. There were 1,464 deaths on Wednesday, the most.
And look at this. Look at this. Is this supposed to be a body bag? What's going on here? That's what they want you to think.
Since summer. The White House seems to be sitting silently by. There's been no new action or announcements for weeks, even as new cases soar. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was outraged at her weekly press briefing on Thursday.
The President and the Republican Congress have ignored by delay.
It's all a game. All the game. All the game. It's all bullcrap. It's all the big show. It's theater. That's what it is. You like puppets? Do you like seeing that type of stuff? That's what it is. It's a puppet show. You like the Muppets? Do you think the Muppets are real? Right? If you think the Muppets are real, then please proceed. Believe Nancy Pelosi. Believe Donald Trump. Believe your fake left-right paradigm. Believe the script of the beast media. But it is a great big puppet show. That's what it is. It's a great big puppet show. This puppet show will continue until the beast media falls. See, the one thing that keeps it all together is the beast media. The one thing. If people knew the truth about how much manipulation happens with your media, the game would be over. Nobody would believe anything that comes off the media. This is the problem that we all face. When you have a relative who is hooked up to their television, they're under mind control. It's the only way to look at it. You can love these people, and you should, but they're under severe mind control. You have to try to tell them that the television is very bad for them. None of this would have happened without the mind control of the masses. None of this would be happening without the television or the internet, right? The control system that they have. And if people would wake up to it and realize how much they're being manipulated on a daily basis, this would all stop. And then we could go on with our lives. And we could enjoy, like so much of the racism that they push out there. It doesn't really exist. So much of it. So much of it. It's ludicrous. But it can exist in the minds of the people who watch the programs. So it's like interacting with people of, like, I mean, I am way more comfortable interacting, say, with black people than I am with even white people. Because I find I say this all the time, white people have lost all respect and dignity. Because that's what they've done to us, right, by and large. But people that are of any minority need to understand this. This is cultural Marxism, sort of social engineering that they're using. They want to convince you that there's white supremacy and that whites have all this privilege when it's absolute garbage. The people that have the privilege are the people that are orchestrating this whole event. These are the richest people in the world. They're the most powerful people that have ever existed, and their generations, their bloodlines have controlled this world for generations, for hundreds if not thousands of years in some cases. These are the real enemies of humanity. Most humans would get along just fine. In fact, we'd probably get along even better than fine. But if you're going and you're watching Jordan Peele's movies, or you're putting on Netflix, or you're listening to CNN, or you're watching the Canadian Brainwashing Corporation, you're being told that all this hatred is going around. You're being told that all these horrible people are about, these racist people. This is all deception. It's all media manipulation, and it's happening worse than it's ever happened before. So anyways, we'll move on to that. Dark winter. I don't know if she's going to say it here. We should listen.
Denial, deaths have been caused. And what are they doing now? Continuing to ignore in spite of these numbers.
Without any leadership on the federal level, state governors are stepping up. In Wisconsin, Governor Evers urged citizens to stay home as much as possible, only leaving to get food, medicine, or to get tested.
Wisconsin, this is serious.
These are the people that we must never forget. We must never forget these people, ever, in the history of the world. We must all collectively learn from this experience and never allow this to happen again. I mean, this is the biggest wake-up call to humanity that's ever existed. We are in a different realm now. We are in the worst form of tyranny. Like, the slope that we're on is so dangerous. These people that have been part of this orchestration are the biggest threats to humanity in general. And anyways, let's just see if he says dark winter here.
This is urgent.
And in Indiana, where hospitalizations are at an all-time high, hospital officials expect the numbers to double over the coming weeks. Governor Eric Holcomb is limiting activity county by county.
Because our frontline medical personnel, our nurses and assistants and doctors, they're exhausted and overwhelmed and need us all to do the things that we can on the outside that will slow the number of patients that need hospitalization.
Hospitals in Lubbock, Texas are so overrun, 2 of them are setting up mobile medical tents. In the neighboring states of New York and New Jersey, restaurants, bars, and gyms have been ordered to close at 10 p.m. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy.
Unless we all recommit to the common sense measures that got us past the first horrendous months of this pandemic, we are in for a long, dark winter.
There you go. So we're in for a long, dark winter. Play that again for you.
Governor Phil Murphy.
Unless we all recommit to the common sense measures that got us past the first horrendous months of this pandemic, we are in for a long, dark winter.
So that's Governor Murphy. We've talked about him on the Patreon show. New Jersey, Hell on Wheels. Shout out to Hell on Wheels and other folks that were on the show. But we talked about that. So they're saying dark winter. And then you've got the Crypt Keeper here. Old Beetlejuice showing up. Oh, yeah.
In the state of Illinois, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot issued a 30-day advisory calling on residents of America's third largest city to stay at home and cancel plans for Thanksgiving.
We do not step up and do the things that we know actually work to protect ourselves.
I just noticed something there. Stop. Just shut up, you.
Issued a 30-day advisory calling on
All
residents
right.
of
So
America.
one thing I noticed here is protect Chicago, protege a Chicago. I'm gonna assume that's Spanish. But like, since when is United States, right, or Illinois a bilingual state or country? And again, pay attention to the narrative about English language spreading the coronavirus, and that English syllables and consonants are the problem, and that there's a lot more spittle that comes out, which is kind of silly because any language, Arabic languages or even Hispanic, would easily blow that away. But protege a Chicago. This is your transformation that's happening here. And again, I'm not saying this to dismiss, Spanish or anything, right? And I'm sure there's people there that speak it and all that, but right, you're in America. Like, since when is Canada's a bilingual country, but it's not really bilingual in the sense that it's calls itself bilingual, and it has most of the products that are sold, or that's the law. It has to be bilingual. So people in Alberta get cereal boxes that have French on them and stuff like that. But we are officially a bilingual country according to our government, right? And according to our Constitution. But United States isn't. So that's very interesting that they're doing stuff like that right there.
America's third largest city to stay at home and to cancel plans for Thanksgiving.
We do not step up and do the things that we know actually work. To protect ourselves, to protect our families,
Dark winter.
protect people in our network,
Dark winter.
protect our colleagues. By the end of this year, we will lose at least 1,000 more lives.
Oh, well, 1,000 more old people dying of natural causes that you're going to rubber stamp their coronavirus on.
Doctors in other states are also urging Americans not to have large Thanksgiving gatherings this year.
The strongest advice is don't gather with people outside of your household this Thanksgiving.
For some Americans looking forward to the holidays to bring some joy during a tough year, the pandemic may have taken that away too.
All right, so yeah, and when I was looking Dark Winter. They talk about the exercise Dark Winter, of course, which is a bioterror exercise they carried out shortly before 9/11. Bioterrorist attack simulation conducted from June 22nd to the 23rd is designed to carry out a mock version of a covert, widespread smallpox attack on the United States. The Bill Gates, of course, coming out many times and said that his biggest fear, his second biggest fear, or the thing that they asked him, what do you fear the most aside from that? He said a bioterror attack sort of thing, right? So they might indeed have this coming. Isn't this interesting? The Johns Hopkins Center of Health Security, which is behind the whole scamdemic, they were, of course, one of the major players in Event 201. And they got a Dark Winter thing here. And then you've got Healthline.com. U.S. is likely headed for a dark winter. Shining light on dark winter. Operation Dark Winter. Let's see in the news. Biden warns of a very dark winter. Dark winter, Biden. Corona pandemic. It's all Biden. Facing a dark winter. Winter is coming. They've been programming you for so long. All your media has been programming you for so long. The reason why you fear viruses is because of all the movies and television shows and all the fear propaganda that they put and all the other fake outbreaks that they've had, including the Ebola in 2014. You fear these things because your movies have conditioned you into these things. Your television has conditioned you into these things. This is how it works. Contagion, the movie, just to show you, came out on 9/11. 9/11, of course, 9 times 11, 99, 99, 666. These are their numbers, right? So Contagion, and you see all that. Here it is, 9/11, September the 9th, 2011. You cannot make this SHIT up. You cannot. But they can. So why is that popping up? Isn't it interesting? Steven Soderbergh, he's just been popping up a lot lately as well because of the movie Fight Club. which has been popping up a lot as well. Contagion, of course, is the story of everything that's happening right now. It's the same story. The bat, that bites the banana that the pig eats, and the pig gets sick, and the butcher shakes Gwyneth Paltrow's hand, and Gwyneth Paltrow gets on the plane, and then everybody gets sick, and then there's a massive pandemic, and then the military's brought in, martial law, panic, everything ensues, and then eventually they bring in the vaccine. And they force everyone to take it. You have to understand why these numbers are so important to them and why these dates. When did the coronavirus come out? Well, it was 3/11. 3/11 was the date of the coronavirus pandemic that they announced. 9/11, of course. Well, we all know about 9/11. So that's the 6 months, right? And we had the rule of 6 and all these things. Anyways, I'm going to get too carried away here. Let's go back here. U.S. cases top 11.1 million. Let's move on from that. Here you got this douchebag here. God, I can't stand these people. I wonder what happened if I walked down the street and I passed this guy. I don't know. I'd say something for sure. Yeah, I'd say something. I'd say, what do you... I don't know what I would say. I'd say something nasty. Like, yeah. How do you like manipulating people every day, Mark McAllister?
5,700 plus daily COVID cases in Toronto over the course of November. That's a big number. The reproductive rate is over 1 at this point as well, and it continues to move forward. With that, there has been...
And you just have to think about this. This creature that you see on the screen has no medical degree, no science degree, has no knowledge about anything that's going on. He's reading the teleprompter. You see, if you don't realize this when you're watching your media, you are stupid. And you need to stop being stupid. You need to look at these people and say, what's going on? Who is this person? Why am I listening to somebody who has no credentials that is reading a teleprompter? Why is he trying so hard to convince me? It's akin to a salesman, right? What they're snake oil salesmen. This is what they are. They're snake oil salesmen because they want you to believe what the teleprompter is telling them to read to you. So they use all this, I don't know, this sort of convincing sort of tone and approach to their delivery to convince you that it's real. Why on earth would you believe in this person? Why? How stupid do you have to be?
Ongoing discussion about what kind of measures can be put in place. They continued over the course of the weekend, and an idea, or at least a couple more ideas, have been floated publicly, probably sooner than officials had probably planned. With the holiday shopping season fast approaching, prepare to scale back the visits to your favorite mall or store. The chances of getting in may be a little more difficult.
It's an example of something you could do to limit the capacity, as we've done in other instances, of the number of people that could be in a store at a given point in time and that sort of thing. But it's entirely at this point hypothetical because those discussions are ongoing and they're the different kinds of measures that basically cut down on crowd scenes.
Mayor John Tory hinting at the possibility that retail stores and malls could have their capacity limited in order to prevent larger groups from gathering.
So there you go, reducing capacity, limiting people, forcing people to stand in queues, in circles, spreading apart, getting sprayed as you walked into these places, showing your accreditations, only, essential workers. This whole notion of essential workers is so utterly insulting to anybody that works for a living. Anybody out there that works for a living, essential workers is a slap in the face to you. The way that they would say a stock clerk is an essential worker as opposed to somebody that owns their own restaurant is not. Right? It's just out of this world, but it's just more tyranny, and it's more excuses to impose more tyranny, and it's getting you conditioned. It's a slow not even slow. I can't say it's slow, but it's a quick conditioning of humanity into their new normal in which you'll never ever have freedom again. And what will happen, and what has happened as we move forward, is incrementally they're destroying all your freedom. Incrementally, they're getting you accustomed to police everywhere. They're getting you accustomed to restrictions. They're getting you accustomed to walking through portals, being sprayed, being your temperature being read with a gun up to your head. All these things are all part of your psychological programming. It's only the most evil plot in the history of the world. I'm sorry that we're all having to live through this. It really is not fun. And I totally sympathize with everybody out there that has had enough of it, sort of thing. But it's going to continue as long as we allow them to do this to us. So, thank the sheeple. Next time you see a sheeple with a mask on, thank them. Say, thank you for bringing me tyranny. Thank you for bringing the New World Order. Because of people like you, this is all happening. It's the biggest magic trick ever, really, because there's no way that any of this is legal. What they're doing, it violates all of our rights. But they have managed to manipulate the masses into buying into it. It's the biggest trick ever. It's really something to see. Anyways, let's move on because I got so many more things to show you, and I'm lagging behind. COVID Zero campaign gaining momentum online, so pay attention to this.
But right now, our half measures that we're doing are literally rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic while we're hurtling towards a significant lockdown.
Doctors fed up.
So they're rearranging death chairs on the Titanic. Now, this Nigel Newlove... This is the guy's name. His name is Nigel Newlove. And they strategically videotaped this from the Ottawa River here. As you see the Parliament buildings right behind him. Just to enforce the government tyranny sort of thing, right?
Soaring COVID cases across the country are calling on the government to take swift and decisive action to stomp out the virus.
So this collective of doctors is demanding more tyranny.
But that means more restrictions and lockdowns. They're calling the campaign #COVID0.
Most of us are still not actually doing all the things we need to do to really get community transmission under control. And all we're seeing as a result is hospitals becoming increasingly overwhelmed and deaths.
Where are the hospitals becoming increasing? Please show me where they are. Can anybody corroborate this? I have not seen one shred of evidence to show that any hospital has been overwhelmed. In fact, everything that I've seen has been the polar opposite. So when they tell you this stuff, go and check your own hospital, please. I wholeheartedly encourage you to do this if you can. Please go and check your own hospital. If you can, bring in a video camera. If they see you with a video camera, they're gonna immediately use security on you because they don't want the secret to get out. But if you go and you can sneak in a cam, please go to your hospital. Please do and film this. And especially if your local media is telling you the hospital is overwhelmed, or our hospitals are on the verge of being overwhelmed, go and check. Go and check.
In our long-term care homes just continue to mount on a daily basis.
Almost a year after the virus first appeared, Canada's still struggling to contain it as cases explode across the country. Rather than trying to control rates with random restrictions and lockdowns, some doctors believe we should start enforcing circuit breakers and larger lockdowns with the goal of achieving zero spread.
Circuit breakers? What?
Our goal here is to get this pandemic under control so socially and financially we can get on with things and actually return back.
Socially and financially, says this douchebag who is not restricted from working. He's not even wearing a mask and is in his office, presumably making lots of money while everybody else is locked at home. Unbelievable.
To our pre-pandemic state.
Canada has so far seen nearly 300,000 cases of COVID-19 nationwide, but that figure has spiked in the last month following the return to school and the Thanksgiving holiday. This epidemiologist from Manitoba believes short impromptu lockdowns are not effective.
One incubation period of just 2 weeks just is not enough, unfortunately. We know that the numbers we see today, we always have to remember that relates to risk and activities that occurred 5, 6, 7, 8 days ago, for example.
Several provinces have bounced back and forth, tightening restrictions when numbers peak. It's forced thousands of businesses to close their doors for good, and thousands of others worried about a similar fate. But Carr believes serious lockdowns will benefit everyone, as long as proper financial supports are in place.
Serious lockdowns will benefit everyone. Really? Is it going to benefit the children? Is it going to benefit the elderly? Is it going to benefit the store owners? All the businesses? I mean, these people are unbelievable. They're unbelievable. It's unbelievable what's going on.
And people follow the restrictions. Others worried about a similar fate. But Carr believes serious lockdowns will benefit everyone, as long as proper financial supports are in place and people follow the restrictions.
It's not about trust. It's not about, I know these people well, and it's not about, we're just in our house, not a restaurant. The more you gather, the more you give this virus an opportunity to spread, the more businesses are being sabotaged.
In Ottawa, Nigel Newlove, City News.
Unbelievable. Unfrickin' believable. British Army testing children in Liverpool. One of my patrons sent this to me. Let's take a look.
Guys, we are live at a school.
Giving all tests out to children. Look at it. Yeah, look at them.
Guys, we are live at a school in Liverpool.
Isn't this lovely, going to school and seeing these massive military vehicles and soldiers dressed in camouflage with guns and stuff?
Alderstone School. Share this everywhere, guys.
Look at them. Intimidating the kids. Go on, jump out, jump out.
We are live. Alderstone School in Liverpool, I believe. Guys? What are you doing at the school here? What are you doing at the school here today? Please. What are you doing at the school here today? I can't hear you. Can I come round so I can talk to you? I can't hear you. Go, come round. Yeah. Can you turn the engine off so I can hear you? What are you coming to test the kids in school? There's no children died of COVID-19. Why is the army here to test children? It's dreadful what's going on. Go to the media office. It's disgusting why the army are here testing our children, honestly.
Yeah, so, you know, that's Liverpool. We know that was happening. Another one of my patrons sent me this here. Safe occupancy coming soon. So light and tech. It's just the typical things that you're seeing now. And again, if you do see these things, please take a photo if you can and share them with me and share them with other people on social media. We need to get all this stuff out. It's very important. All right, let's move on from that. Ontario Nurses Association called for 8-day lockdown. Unbelievable. And they're going to tell you, oh, we're overwhelmed and all this crap.
From Ontario nurses, lock down the province's COVID red zones or prepare for a very grim and very painful winter. The head of the registered nurses...
How about a dark winter? A dark winter? Should I get lots of lights and candles and stuff?
Is calling on the premier to pull the trigger on targeted wide-scale closures that she says will save lives and livelihoods.
There you go.
If we don't suffocate the virus.
So what is this thing here? This is Dr. Doris Grinspun. My word. How old is this thing here? Seriously? Dr. Doris Grinspun? CEO, Registered Nurses Association of Ontario.
COVID-19 doesn't take any breaks, doesn't sleep even, doesn't take weekends off. It will suffocate us.
Dr. Doris Grinspoon says our healthcare system is on the verge of collapse as of today.
Is it really? Can we go in the hospitals to corroborate that? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Ontario is 25 ICU beds away from canceling surgeries, and she says we are facing a shortage of doctors and ICU nurses. She's calling for a targeted approach, locking down Ontario's COVID hotspots, Toronto, Hamilton, Peel, Halton, and York regions immediately for at least 28 days. This would exclude schools, at least for now.
And why 28 days, right? 28 days? This is another theme that's come up over and over again. 28 days later, of course.
So if there is no lockdown, paint that picture.
Grim. We predicted that if we don't take these serious measures, in February we will have a province-wide
So
lockdown.
she says, Dr. Grinspun says it's grim. You can't make this up.
Grim. We predicted that if we don't take these serious measures, in February we will have a province-wide.
And check this out. Check this out. Once again, who's the dummies? Who are the dummies? Check this out.
Measures.
There's a dummy. Again and again. How many times have we seen this? How many times have they placed dummies in these? And what's the excuse? Because they're showing you this narrative, and the narrative is, oh, our hospitals are overrun, and yet there's no real evidence to show it. And all they do is they show you these scripted sort of segments of nurses, you know, putting on hazmat suits and whatnot, and then they'll show you a little clip, and then all of a sudden you see something, and it's a frickin' dummy. That's what they think of us, really. We're all a bunch of dummies, and we're all just going to bend over and take it. It's unbelievable.
In February, we will have a province-wide lockdown because otherwise the entire system will collapse.
Dr. Grinspoon tells me she's relayed this message to the Premier in a face-to-face meeting 1 week ago. Advice, she says, is falling on deaf ears.
I said to him, we need to move now because RNO is not going to...
We need to move now and go to the hospitals. Everyone needs to go to the hospitals. Everyone needs to know the truth. We need to go to the hospitals. If they're claiming the hospitals are overflowing and they can't handle it, we need to know this. We need to see the evidence of this. If they're going to destroy our lives and they're going to shut us down, they're going to lock down everything, then we need to know. That is all. There's no way that you can trust your media. Zero way. Unbelievable.
Continue to wait. This is a tragedy of mega proportions.
Today, Premier Doug Ford told reporters he will not hesitate to lock things down, but did not have a straight answer when pressed about what would have to happen for the hammer to drop.
I look at the health and safety over anything else.
Since COVID numbers began to spike...
Health and safety over anything else. What about the health and safety of all the business owners that are losing their businesses? All the restaurants that are collapsing, the bars, the cafes, and everything that's being destroyed because of your lockdowns. How many lives are going to be lost that way? How many people's livelihoods are lost? And then what is the result of that, of course, right? All the restrictions, well, people start to drink, right? They start to eat. They start to, get depressed. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ontario nurses calling for lockdowns. I mean, you just, what? 2020, the year is 2020. Ontario nurses are calling for lockdowns. And again, it makes it seem like it's all the nurses. Are all the nurses ingredients? Because I know a bunch of nurses that are not 100%. And I know nurses that know that this is all a scam. And doctors as well. And yet you would have this green-spun character come on and say, I speak for all the nurses. We need doctors, nurses to step out and expose this. Like, seriously, guys. I mean, if these hospitals are not being overwhelmed like they're claiming, then, you know, and this is what we've shown whenever we've gone into the hospitals, anybody that's gone in to film the hospitals, that's why they banned that hashtag. They delete all those videos. What do you have to hide? If you're making these claims, right? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So if you're making these claims, then we have to 100%, like all Canadians, all Americans, everyone around the world needs to realize this. Look, if they're telling you this on your telly, you better go and find out for sure. Because if they're lying to us... Anyways, let's move on here. Check this out. Montreal company helping keeping supermarkets or supermarket carts sanitary. Wonderful.
Developed the Kemp Cart. It's a device that will allow us to disinfect shopping carts. We also have a unit that disinfects baskets. It eliminates 99.9% of all bacteria and germs, which include viruses as well.
They love that. 99.9%. Of course, if you don't know, you may not know this. It's not 666. It's actually 999 is their number. 666 is just the inverse of that, but it's really 999. So when you see 99.9%, Diamond Group, very interesting. ChemCart CC33, ChemCart. I wonder who is behind this endeavor. Let's play that again.
Shopping carts. We also have a unit that disinfects baskets. It eliminates 99.9% of all bacteria and germs, which include viruses as well. Due to the pandemic, people have really been concerned about the cleanliness of the things they put in their hands. And what the ChemCart allows them to do is have a guilt-free or a stress-free experience when going to their retailers. But beyond the pandemic, I believe that these measures that we're instituting should be here to stay. The product that the ChemCart, these measures that we're instituting should be here to stay. The product, I believe, but beyond the pandemic, I believe that these measures that we're instituting should be here to stay. The product, but beyond the pandemic, I believe that these measures that we're instituting should be here to stay. The product...
I hope you get the message. Usually you put the iris in the eyeball sort of thing with the diamond. It is what it is, folks. Cuomo blasts Trump's threat to withhold vaccine. Just more. I'm not even going to play that. It's just so ridiculous. Here is what dying COVID-19 patients told nurse stuns Camarota.
The worst place in the country for coronavirus this morning is South Dakota. It's experiencing record cases, deaths, and hospital levels. The positivity rate there is the highest in the nation at almost 60%. The state has taken a hands-off approach to public health protocols recommended by the CDC. Back in July, President Trump hosted an Independence Day celebration, as you can see on your screen. This was in a packed amphitheater at Mount Rushmore. A month later, nearly 500,000 bikers...
Do you understand how mind control works? This is all theater. It's all done purposely. They do this all the fucking time. They show you the Trump MAGAs and they're not wearing the mask. And that's why all the people on the red get the virus and all the people in the blue don't. Because, right? There's a special place in hell for media reporters. A special place. There's probably like a little cellar that these people go to. Extra hot. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I mean, to say I hate the corporate media is the understatement of the century. But it is what it is.
This was in a packed amphitheater at Mount Rushmore. A A month later, nearly 500,000 bikers flooded into the town of Sturgis for an annual motorcycle rally. South Dakota's Republican Governor Kristi Noem supported both events and refuses to issue public safety directives such as wearing masks. Here's what she said a couple of weeks ago to Trump.
And then Fox News would be showing you the Democratic rallies and the BLM, conversely. And it's just a divide and conquer.
The only reason you know who I am today is because the liberals have been busy kicking.
And how does this person get to be a governor? Like, seriously? Kristi Noem? Are you serious? Get the frig out of here.
Me in the head for all the decisions I've made for my people in South Dakota. But let me tell you, my people are happy. They're happy because they're free.
And somebody that would say, my people, my people, my people, those are your people. Unbelievable.
We invited Governor Noem to join us this morning, but she declined. But here to describe what she's seeing on the front lines in South Dakota is Jody Doring. She's a registered nurse who has called the coronavirus crisis in her state, quote,
It's all right. You can dupe. It's okay. We're used to it. Don't worry. Don't hold back on the duping. Please don't. Because it makes it more entertaining for all of us. Let's just watch a little bit of that duping again.
In South Dakota is Jody Doring. She's a registered nurse who has called the coronavirus crisis in her state, quote, a horror movie that never ends.
Yeah, it's a horror movie that never ends that she'll smile and laugh about while you're saying that. That makes it that... I mean, honestly, you got to be the biggest moron on planet Earth if you're watching CNN. Seriously, these people laugh in your faces. That's duping delight. That's what we call duping delight. If you don't know what duping delight is when somebody is lying and manipulating the audience and they're getting pleasure from it. They can't contain their pleasure. So when they're talking about how horrific the hospitals are and she's laughing and smiling, it's because she can't contain her delight at duping the idiots that watch CNN. It's that simple.
Thank you so much for being here. When I read some of your tweets, my jaw dropped. You said that even now, that the hospital is being overrun with COVID patients. They come in, they're horribly ill, they're gasping for breath, and yet they don't believe they have COVID?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing to watch is that people are still...
Do you see anybody anywhere? Do you remember when the whole fake thing started in China and they were showing you these videos of people falling all of a sudden having these crazy palpitations, and I was laughing my ass off saying, no, it's total media fakery, total bullcrap. But remember they were showing you all that stuff? And now she's actually telling you that people are coming in and they can't even breathe. And it's like, do you see anyone anywhere in that state? Anywhere you go? Have you seen anyone in that state? If you had a real pandemic, you would see people all around like that. There would be no mistake in it. But how comes we see nobody like that? And this is what they claim.
Hospitals being overrun with COVID patients. They come in, they're horribly ill, they're gasping for breath, and yet they don't.
And why would the reporter be saying this? Like, the reporter's supposed to be interviewing the person. Like, if you don't apply critical thought to what you see, this is what we call leading, right? Where the reporter is saying the dialogue for the person to set up the scenario, right? To lead them into what they want them to say. But it's so utterly, obviously, completely disingenuous for the reporter to actually be describing the situation which she, this hideous creature from hell, has never witnessed. We'll just listen to that little part again.
Even now, the hospital is being overrun with COVID patients. They come in, they're horribly ill, they're gasping for breath, and yet they don't believe they have COVID?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing to watch is that people are still looking for something else.
And why South Dakota? Because it's got a Republican governor. That's why. Because the Republican governor came out. It's all the script. It's all the script. All of it's a script, folks. It's just a big, stinky shit pile of a script. That's what it is. And that's why these actors that come on can't contain their dupe and delight, because it's just so much fun to be on CNN just duping the idiot sheeple.
Want a magic answer, and they don't want to believe that COVID is real. And the reason I tweeted what I did is it wasn't one particular patient. It's just a culmination of so many people. And their last dying words are, this can't be happening, it's not real. And when they should be spending time FaceTiming their families, they're filled with anger and hatred. And it just made me really sad the other night. And I just can't believe that those are going to be their last thoughts and words.
Anger and hatred towards you?
I think it's just a belief that it's not real, and nursing happens to be on the receiving end of that. And that's okay. We can take that. That's what you're there for. It's just in the bigger picture when you try to reason with people of, can I call your family, your kids, your wife, your friend, your brother? And they say no, because I'm going to be fine. And you're watching their oxygen levels, maxed out on what we call vapotherm at 100%, and their oxygen level might be 75. That's not really that compatible with life, and we know where that's going to head. And it just makes you...
So this is Jody Doring? Mm-hmm. Registered emergency room nurse. Anybody wants to do a search on this person here? See what other garbage you can pull up. And she's all dressed in black, too. To look like, they're supposed to make her look solemn and stuff, but she can't contain her dupe and delight and the whole... I can't... If I watch CNN, honestly, like... I don't know. I wouldn't have any screens left. I just smash them all, It's just so intolerable to watch this type of mental manipulation that they use. It's such a script, folks. It's such a ridiculous script. I'm so sick of these people. Oh, man.
Sad and mad and frustrated. And then you know that you're just going to come back and do it all over again. And that's kind of where that stemmed from.
How could it not make your own head explode? They're gasping for breath.
Yes, maybe if you put this thing that you wrap around your head, it keeps it from exploding. Is that what it is? Or is that just to keep whatever brains you have left in there? Good Lord, these people are a subhuman trash.
Their oxygen levels are dropping. What do they think is wrong with them?
I think people look for anything. People want it to be influenza. They want it to be pneumonia. They want it to be... we've even had people say, well, I think maybe it might be lung cancer. Something so far-fetched. And the reality is, since day one...
What's more far-fetched than COVID? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on from that one. How about this global here with the red V? How COVID-19 is attacking our brains. So wonderful.
I couldn't remember my friend's name, who I've known for 12 years.
Burning things and undercooking others, and I cook for a living.
I started putting my mascara where the toothbrush goes.
Oh my God!
Patients around the world have
what is the place in hell for crisis actors? Where do they go? Seriously, I want to know. Look at how ridiculous this pure propaganda is. Pure propaganda. Look at the imagery that they're using here. They have to say, oh, somebody used a toothbrush instead of their mascara brush. Somebody couldn't remember their best friend for the last 10 years. Somebody else cooked something that they weren't supposed to cook. Are you, was it too hard for you to understand that? We'll make some simple symbols for you. You need some little, number blocks to go with it for your little infantile brain.
Having unsettling experiences like these. And they could be connected to the long-term effects the novel coronavirus can have on the human brain.
Well, don't read the novel then, You just get out. I don't know. Don't go to the bookstore. Don't go to get the fiction books there about the novel.
This is a very ingenious virus. We had for a long time thought that this was primarily a respiratory syndrome. We now know that it is a multi-system.
Yeah, there you go.
The virus enters the body through a protein called ACE2.
ACE2,
yeah. On the outside of cells throughout the body, including in the brain. The virus uses ACE2 as a gateway to get into the cells, hijacking them to make copies of itself.
Oh, no.
The novel coronavirus can change a person's oxygen level, temperature, and blood pressure, which can cause delirium.
Why are they showing old footage? Why? That's such awful. I mean, seriously. Oh my God. I mean,
A serious condition causing confusion and a reduction in someone's awareness of their environment. Up to 60% of hospitalized COVID patients are reported to have this condition.
Delirium is typically the brain's way of saying that the body is not right.
A July study found confusion to be the most common brain-related symptom.
That's what happens when you watch this fake fucking bullcrap on your bullshit news. Look at they're wearing ski goggles. Oh my God, what's going on with this? This guy he's on his back. They got this huge fat person here on their back with their hair. I mean, God, what is going on here? I mean, what does this have to do with anything? Of course, they just want you to be convinced that all of this is going down.
In COVID-19 patients who had an MRI.
I'm trying to just think where was I going with this. You see, this is what happens. I get all like flustered with how to word things.
You're just a terrible actor. You're just a terrible actor. Like, seriously. Seriously. Holy crap. Wow.
How to word things.
The virus can also inflame the lining of blood vessels, increasing the risk of blood clots that could lead to strokes. The main neurological sign of COVID-19, though, is losing the sense of smell or taste.
I was eating and suddenly my sense of taste was completely gone, without a trace, without being congested.
Without a trace. Did you notice something? Without a trace? You can't make this. You cannot make it up, Tracy Thompson, without a trace. I mean, this is how your script works. They say, how dumb are you? We think you're so incredibly stupid, so we're gonna rub this in your face. That's what we're gonna do.
Without being congested.
There is some speculation that
without being gone, without my sense of taste was completely gone, without a trace, without being congested.
There is some speculation that the virus.
Get the brain tickler. Come and get your boogers picked.
Uses the olfactory system to enter the brain and cause infection.
It's like you have a little terrorist.
Yeah, it's it.
Your body.
It's a little terrorist. It's like you have a little terrorist running inside your body. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Oh my God. My God. Where do they get these ravishing beauties from? I don't know. I guess the crisis actors organizations are just overflowing with these just stunning people here. Elaine Dierk.
Terrorist.
It's like a little terrorist.
The brain and cause infection.
It's like you have a little terrorist running around in your body from your scalp to your toes, setting bombs off.
Yeah, he's setting bombs off.
What's going to hit you next?
I never know. Never know.
The World Health Organization says most people who get COVID-19 recover from it.
Oh, wow.
But researchers say there will likely be those who have long-lasting brain-related symptoms.
Humans plan, humans think about the future in general, next week, next month, in a year, and we're having to think about just
honestly, I don't think your teeth are white enough. I mean, could somebody reach this girl and tell her that her teeth look kind of yellow? Like, seriously. I mean, seriously, she's got to get in there, man. There's some serious problems here. This is not white enough for me. Isn't the irony of whitening your teeth and how bad white people are? Isn't that funny how that works? Everyone's trying to whiten their teeth all the time, but yet white is bad. I thought white's bad. I thought, I don't know.
because we don't know what each day is going to bring.
I'm a shadow of what I was.
He's a shadow. You're a shadow. Okay, he's a shadow of what he was. David Harris Goblin. He's a goblin. He's a goblin. Yeah, he's a shadow. You're a shadow of what I don't know. I mean, he's
shadow of what I was.
Shadow.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah.
What we do know about COVID-19 and the brain is based on incomplete knowledge, with researchers saying what they know is constantly evolving.
That's what's happening. This is what's happening. They're showing you. Look how honest the media is. They're showing you what's going on in the COVID person's brain. We'll just watch this again, just so you can see it. I'll slow it down here. You can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. Let's just watch it. We got to put that slower. We got to see. Because, like, I want the YouTube community to know how much I believe in the corporate media. And how much I trust like John Green and the authoritative sources like the New York Times and the Washington Post and of course Global News. And I'm so impressed by what they've done here. This brain scan really shows what's going on inside the mind of somebody with COVID-19. So let's watch it together. I slowed it down here.
No.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Jeez, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
Constantly
that's quite a problem, isn't it? It's a pretty serious thing. It's just insane. I mean, oh my gosh, you know. Oh, what are you going to do? Anyways, it's constantly evolving. Boris Johnson offers to self-quarantine after contact with Parliament member. Loch Ness Monster offers to quarantine after contact with Sasquatch, of course. You don't need to see that. Just more garbage. How about this one? How to celebrate in 2020.
Is usually a celebratory time with holidays and gatherings and reminiscing. But this year, it might feel a bit harder to celebrate. YouTube has already announced that for the first time in a decade, there will be no rewind.
Oh, no rewind. Oh, that's so terrible. Oh, I'm so heartbroken. What are we going to do? What are we going to do without the YouTube rewind? Oh, my God. What are the trannies going to do? Seriously. Seriously. What are we going to do? Shane Dawson. My word. What's going to happen? Gosh. It's so... you know, the bad coat. You see what it's doing to people's brains. You know, it's obvious.
Because, quote, 2020 has been different and it doesn't feel right to carry on as if it weren't. So,
yeah, that's it.
And how should we celebrate and find happiness this year? Joining me now, Dr. Laurie Santos is a professor of psychology at Yale University who studies happiness. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. You know, this year has brought so much hardship for so many people. Is it okay?
I could save everyone a world of trouble. Never watch take a sledgehammer and smash your television. There you go. You'll instantly be happier and healthier. But that's not what they'll tell you.
Just not prioritize happiness this time around?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have to take time to grieve, right? You know, when we're dealing with a challenging time, it makes sense to take time to recognize our negative emotions and be with them. That said, happiness can be even more important during negative times. There's evidence that your well-being might predict things like your improved immune function. It predicts things like longevity. It predicts things like creative problem solving, all things that we need during this pandemic. And so while it can be easy to just toss up your hands and say, you know, you can't be happier during 2020, you need to put some time in. It's more important now than ever.
As we hunker down more in the winter months and COVID cases are rising.
What's going on with these two? What is going on here? Do you guys see what I'm seeing here? Like at first I thought they were just masked, but look at their faces. What's going on? They're like painted red.
Winter months and COVID cases are rising right now.
What's going on here? Yeah, you see the woman there. She's like, okay, get away from these two.
COVID cases are rising right now. It all gets a bit harder.
I guess maybe they got the brain disease that they showed you there. Oh, gosh, I can't stand this shillery. Anyways, let's move on. Ah, the American Psycho. American Psycho. When he's not butchering people with an axe, what is he doing? Well, he's here. He's floating the curfew for California, using Saudi Arabia as an example. Wonderful.
Remind you the incredible importance of wearing these face coverings and masks.
Wearing. Yeah, this guy, wow. You could trust him. There's no doubt about it. You could trust him. You could trust him with anything. This guy is definitely trustworthy. And it don't matter. Like, people, sometimes you judge axe murderers a little bit too much, I think. Some of us look at it and we say, that's an axe murderer. And I say, you know what? Give the guy a chance. You know, maybe hang out with him for an evening. You know, if he starts playing Huey Lewis in the News, you might want to get in the next room or something. But I don't know. I think we judge these people a little bit too harshly.
The importance of wearing these face coverings and masks. And
I like the way he says that.
Wearing these face coverings and masks. And we'll be putting out some additional guidance in that space on physically distancing. We'll also be augmenting and putting out more guidance as well as more activity moves back indoors based upon these more restrictive tiers, as well as the likelihood of us moving back indoors as it gets colder, even in less restrictive tiers, as people move from outdoor activities back indoors. We want to tighten up those efforts. We also are considering, full disclosure, a little bit of a preview, the notion of a curfew. Now,
yeah,
jump in terms of your mindset and whether it's a good idea or bad idea.
Freedom.
We are assessing
California.
that as well. I have on my desk quite...
All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. Or is that in California? I don't know. I thought California Dreamin' was all about freedom. Damn, you know what? I hate that song, I gotta say. I fucking hate that song. That's like one of the most depressing songs of all time. The Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin', you know that? All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. Up and for a walk. Oh, it's so bad. Anyways, yeah, wonderful. California, freedom. Yeah, there you go. Freedom. Freedom. Curfews. Hey, yeah, we've been thinking about curfews. We're really excited about it. Getting the curfews
Literally
down.
3 studies from France, Germany, and Saudi Arabia, interestingly, that have very comprehensive studies on the efficacy of...
that's where I go for my inspiration. Saudi Arabia! Yeah, Saudi Arabia. There you go. That's where a good American psycho goes to get inspiration for how to impose totalitarianism on his own people.
Strategies as it relates to curfews. We know in the United States there are 2 states in particular that have statewide curfews of interest, at least, and that's Massachusetts, and alcohol-based curfew in the state of Virginia. There are a lot of cities, large and small, all across the country.
Awesome!
Woo! Are
curfews.
Promoting certain kinds of curfews.
Love freedom.
All of that's being...
Love freedom. America! Freedom! Freedom! Yeah! Freedom! Woo! Freedom! Curfews. That's all right. Freedom! Yeah! Freedom. Oh, well. It was nice. Nice when it lasted, I guess. Now you got the American Psycho. Care homes possible by Christmas, says... In England, says government. Possible. Care homes.
To loved ones in care homes in England will be possible by Christmas, according to ministers.
There you go.
Families and campaigners.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Well, visits to loved ones.
Visits to loved ones. So the government has said this. The government is so magnanimous. The government's just awesome. Who doesn't love government here? Seriously. Seriously. Governments. I love it. Oh, I love it. They can control everything. Yeah! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Awesome! Big government. Hey, big government. Big government. Yeah, a leash on humanity forever. Forever. Oh, it's just wonderful. So governments are so magnanimous. They said maybe by Christmas we might allow you to see your grandparents. Maybe. We might. We might just allow you. Oh, it's just awesome. Oh, I love 2020. It's the best time to be alive. It's just wonderful. Oh, it's just amazing. Gosh, what can you say? Governments are saying, yeah, possible. It's possible. They might let you see your parents. They might let you see your grandparents. Maybe. It's possible. And be like, the governments are so kind. Do you think they might let us see grandma again? Well, we can't expect the governments to give us anything that, it is 2020. There's a horrible pandemic, so we can't ever expect to see grandma again. But if we do, we're going to make sure that we send a Hallmark card to the government to thank them for allowing us to see our parents. I mean, it's just out of this world. It's, oh my gosh, what are you going to say? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. The sheeple are going to kill us all. They're going to kill us all.
Well, visits to loved ones in care homes in England will be possible by Christmas, according to ministers. Families and campaigners have been increasingly critical of the negative impact that the ban on visits has had on care home residents, especially those with dementia. A pilot scheme involving 20 homes in Hampshire.
I mean, why should you be allowed to see your parents? Why should you be allowed to see your loved ones? Why should you be allowed to... Why should you have that right? What's the matter with you? Seriously? What's the matter? You don't like totalitarianism? What's the matter with you? Seriously. I mean, why should you be allowed to see your family? Why should you be allowed to gather? Why should you be allowed to drink in the pub? Why? Why should you be allowed to walk down the street without a mask on? Why? What's the matter with you?
And then secondly, I want to follow up with you on the vaccine. If the FDA gives emergency authorization to the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine in the coming weeks, will you get vaccinated? And if you're hesitant, why should any American have confidence in the vaccine?
Well, first of all, we'll see if that comes forward. And secondly, it's important that people who are in the greatest need get it. I wouldn't hesitate to get the vaccine. But I also want to set an example. And but I wouldn't hesitate to get the vaccine if, in fact,
4 more years. 4 more years. Yeah, sleepy Joe Biden. Yeah, aren't you lucky? You're gonna be entertaining for sure. I had to switch videos though because I am kind of like, ugh. I mean, I'm fine, all right. But I mean, like, just if you let it sink in how crazy it's gotten, it's just it just blows me away. It blows me away. I'm just blown away. I've never seen such tyranny. I never thought it would happen so quickly. And to think that you're not allowed to see your relatives, like you're not allowed, like how insane that is. And many of these people are dying, and they're gonna die alone. And so, you know, I kind of mock it, but like it's so crazy when you think about it. It's like they're actually doing this. Like, so all these old people, they're gonna die alone. They're not even gonna see their family. I mean, it's like it's so evil. It's so evil what's going on. It's just blowing me away. Anyways, what are you going to say, right? And, yeah, and then we got this. Could concerts resume after COVID-19 vaccine? And, of course, with the COVID-19 vaccine, you got to love this. Look at these shills. Look at these hideous creatures. And look at how they've got them about 6 feet apart here. They've got this, like, I don't know. How long has the desk been like this, right? Did they make this desk like this? Did they sit like this, you know, in 2019? Is this how the show was done? Right? These are interesting questions. It'd be interesting to determine when if this desk has just been made this year, you know, like when was it made? Just the way that they're sitting so far apart, and look at the grinning away, like you scumbags grinning away, laughing your asses off while millions of people are forced out of work. Millions of people are being quarantined. It's just...
Question is here now with some of your COVID-19 questions answered. And this is a really good one. I love this first question, Jen. It asks, if people start getting vaccinated at the beginning of 2021, what's the earliest time frame for when concerts and large public gatherings could resume?
I love this question too, and a couple of really important factors in the answer. Number one, vaccines will not stop this pandemic. Only vaccinations or immunization will. So we can have all the vaccines approved in the world. If people don't take it, we will not start to see more of these large gatherings, concerts, sporting events, so to speak. The second point is more scientific in nature, which is we don't yet know, like we do, let's say, for the flu vaccine, when your body mounts its full immune response, or they haven't released it yet, whether it's 1 week, whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's 2.5 or 3 weeks. We will know that in time, but right now the most important thing is that the vaccine candidates are showing an immune response, which is obviously what we need to have happen.
All right, next question. This is not me asking for a friend. Are there any downsides for my teenage child to be on a diet like paleo or keto? Okay, so
okay, just go away. Quebec's still unsure about holiday gatherings. Well, you know the whole story here.
Évidemment, il est trop tôt pour décider.
Look at this. Gagnant pour le Québec. Gagnant pour la planète. So this is the this is like the Quebec equivalent of staying at home or staying apart keeps us together. So what they're saying, gagnant pour le Québec, gagnant pour la planète, means win for Quebec is winning for the planet. So the Agenda 2030 theme, boom, right in your face, right there.
Décider le nombre de personnes, est-ce que ça sera 5, est-ce que ça sera 10, est-ce que les écoles, c'est mieux de les fermer plus tôt ou plus tard, il est trop tôt.
Premier Legault Monday saying it's too early to decide the number of people that will be allowed around the Christmas table this year. And
so it's too early for the government to decide the amount of people that are going to be allowed around the Christmas table this year. So the government's going to decide whether or not you're going to be allowed to have family for Christmas. Gagnant pour Quebec. Gagnant pour la planète. Staying apart keeps us together. Right? Wow. Anyways, so they're gonna... whatever. Oh, look at this hideous creature here. Look at this thing. God, I hate these people. Fucking hate them. I'm sorry, I'm swearing. I can't help it. We've seen the whole Moderna thing, so I don't need to play this, but look at this creature. Let's just listen to her.
Positive news about a second COVID-19 vaccine. US biotech firm Moderna is revealing its new vaccine is nearly...
I hate these people. Ugh! There you go. Hate speech. That it. Hate speech. Yeah, we saw that one. Get it. Coronavirus, California moving backwards in restrictions. This is just more Gavin Newsom here. I'm not going to play that because we saw him before. You get enough to... Look at this guy. What's going on with your hairdo here, man? What's going on with it? Moderna reports COVID-19 94.5% effective. Of course, we did cover this before.
Very good news. And I think that the light is bright at the end of the long dark tunnel.
There you go. The light is bright. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Holy crap. Oh, no. You can... Hey, hate speech. Hate speech. Hate speech. You can't make fun of... This is interesting, though. I'm guessing, for whatever reason, this guy here, the Asian Elvis here, is at his... he's in his kitchen? I don't know. I guess. He's at his kitchen, and he's got his Cheerios... He's got his Cheerios. He doesn't even close up the box. Seriously, dude. I mean, don't you know about bugs and sanitation? Anyways, he's got a milk house. Something here is like a postcard with sheep. Bah, bah. You see the sheep? And he's got a double hordes here. I don't know. You probably shouldn't do these things because Jeff C's probably going to see them and make fun of you. And again, I don't give a damn, all right, what your ethnicity is. I don't give a damn. I'm going to make fun of you. You work for the corporate media, I'll make fun. I don't care what your ethnicity is. So this isn't racism, you scumbags.
COVID-19 vaccine candidate enters the fray as Moderna reports that its trial vaccine is nearly 95% effective. This comes just 1 week after Pfizer reported similar...
Like, why would you... I'm going to do this in my kitchen. I mean, it's like, what? Are you unaware of what's behind you? He's probably living in some shoebox in Toronto, Stan. Boy, oh boy, man. Look at that. Look at that. Whoa. Wow. It's sad, too, because there's, like, nothing on the walls. It's like this guy has no personality. It's all gray. I guess he puts all his effort into slicking back his hair. I don't know. Maybe his earring collection. I don't know. It's whatever. Anyway, they don't need to see more of that. We'll spare this guy. Look at this. Unus anus. Oh, they love their anuses. Marky Asplauer here. The guy that started the Unus Anus here. And now they've done their Unus Anus. So they're one anus, Unus Anus. They're 1 year of... You imagine you only had 1 year left to live.
Someone asked me a year ago why I was doing this. Why we were making a channel.
Because you're a shill. You're a cocksucker. Watch your language, man.
Effort into it just to delete it. They didn't understand it. They couldn't understand it. They were like, it didn't make any sense. Why would someone put all that effort into something they were just going to get rid of? They were just going to throw away. And I said, it'll make sense when it ends. And I don't think that point could have been more properly articulated than last night when 1.5 million people stopped whatever they were doing to watch and pay respect to the end.
Yeah. And these people, they're seriously, they're such hideous, disgusting narcissists from hell that they'll pat themselves on the back because they get because first and foremost, YouTube promotes this, puts it #1 on trending, tells everyone this is what you need to watch. The whole shill network and empire that is at foot is promoting this crap. And if you don't know who Marky S. Plower is, he's a guy that plays video games, basically. He plays Notice Me Senpai, these games about, little psychopathic Japanese girls that try to, sexually manipulate older men into having sex with them. And when they don't get what they want, they murder everyone around them, sort of thing. So, I mean, I haven't seen this guy in ages, but this popped up, of course, because it was trending, because that's how it works. And it's like everybody just stopped what they were doing, and they all figured it out, yeah. And you see the symbolism, time's up with the black and white symbolism with the hourglass. You know what I'm saying? Extinction Rebellion? Your hourglass with the skulls in it. That's their symbol for their channel.
Pay respect to the end of unus annus, because I firmly believe that the entirety of what something is cannot be truly appreciated until it ends. You don't look back on what it was, you don't look back on all the minutiae of the detail of how it came to be until it's already gone. And then that ending, depending on how it ended.
If you have seen, like I've seen maybe 3 episodes of this, and that's generous because there's no way I can just sit there and watch this stuff, but I did cover it when they started it. And they would do videos where these 2 idiots, himself and this other thing, and they would stack cups or they would play little stupid games that are for like 3-year-olds, basically. Oh, God, it's so awful. Anyways, I'm not going to play any more of this because I'm just going to want to punch this screen. Then we have this stuff here happening. Trump supporters march, then BLM and Antifa arrive.
You can see that there's this guy who's getting in confrontations.
You can see that this guy is getting confrontations. I don't know how to make your voice that gay. How do you make your voice that gay? I mean, like, does it require the sucking on other people's Johnsons all day? I mean, how does a voice get this gay?
See that there's this guy who's getting in confrontations with members of Antifa and BLM. He's confronting a bunch of people, and he's hit in the back of the head and knocked to the ground. And they steal his cell phone as well, people kicking him while he's down. So all sorts of wonderful things happening in Washington. You see there's a man walking, literally just walking with his MAGA hat, people jumping at him, people assaulting him.
There you go. You're just seeing all these awful things that the Antifa are doing to MAGA people. You just see here, and here I'll just show you a slice here. I won't show you anything else.
This is the Daily Wire's your left-right gay freaking bullshit paradigm, and they're showing you the violence of Antifa. And the guy there that got KO'd, it was pretty brutal. I watched this. Where is it? This guy here. And he did start off like attacking and stomping on people and stuff, and then he I've been in a lot of fights, right? I used to fight a lot. If you're looking for a fight, you'll get a fight, right? You go to a bar and you're looking for a fight, you'll get a fight. So people that look for that stuff get it. And he got it bad. Somebody totally sucker punched him. But that's after he did a whole bunch of shit. So I don't really give a damn about this guy, to be honest with you. But it's just more of the divide and conquer. And they want you to see this because it's all about like the Daily Wire and Breitbart and Fox News and all that. Just like the left. It's all about divide and conquer. It's all about let's hit our listeners with as much ammunition as we can to show you how awful Antifa and BLM are so that you solidify your position, so that you even more hate those people on the opposite side. And the left does this equally, right? So this is how it works. This is how our controllers control us. And they divide and conquer, and they use this type of footage. This is like real footage, not staged. It's real, and it's very brutal to see. But this is stuff that happens. It happens every day, basically. And it's going to happen a lot more. And the more that it happens, the more you're going to see it, because the more they're going to use it. And again, you just see how the whole divide and conquer is turning people into these zombies that are just attacking each other without any sort of reason, right? What are they? Because you're on the wrong team. You're not on the red team. You're on the blue team. So I'm going to come after you. And this is all orchestrated, folks. It's not that events like this are orchestrated in the sense that they're, like sometimes they are, like Richard Spencer getting knocked out and stuff like that. Those are usually orchestrated events. But like this is the manifestation of this type of divide and conquer, and this is the real sort of casualties of this, which inevitably could lead to civil war. Inevitably could lead, but that's what they want. They're orchestrating all of this. So this is just a typical sort of left or rightist view on MAGA and how they're being attacked by Antifa. And then you look at this. How can you make your community more sustainable? Presented by Hyundai. Butt feed. Presented by Hyundai. How can you make your community? And then they show Flint, Michigan, right? Which has been one of the focal points because it's such a armpit of a place, right? No offense to people from Flint, but right, Flint is, because the automobile industry collapsed and everything, Flint has been like a really bad place economically for a long time. And so, yeah, Flint faced a devastating water crisis. And then, so how can you make your community more sustainable? Sustainable development presented by Hyundai. It's like so in your face. Butt feed. Honestly, a small asteroid. Really small one, though, God. I don't know if God comes to me and says, okay, Jeff, see, you get one asteroid. I'd have a hard time. I'd be like, I don't know. Like CNN headquarters, no. BBC, no. CBC, no. Anyways, yeah. So what are they showing here? Make it more. Ali Rose Vanover Burke founded Genesee. Yeah, wonderful. The horrible music. Ionic. Genesee. Company that makes eye water from plastic water bottles. So also, and yeah, it is interesting, the cross. as if you know why they put that on. Anyways, the what they're going to do is the whole Great Reset, and they're showing you all this, is that all the corporations that go in this direction, that start doing the sustainable and the recycling and all this crap, they're the ones that are going to be allowed to function. They're redesigning the entire economy based on sustainable development, quote unquote sustainable development. It's all Agenda 2030. It's all New World Order, of course. But yeah, you just see the type of manipulation that works, gives them job skills. They're making glasses out of, and they do this every day. It's just so ridiculous. But what can you do? What can you do to build a more sustainable future in your community? Yeah, what can you do? I don't know. And Ali Rose, Vancouver, Vanover Beak here.
I'm the founder of Genesee Eyewear. 3 things that any individual can do to live a more sustainable and conscious lifestyle is, first and foremost, choosing to refuse single-use plastic. And if you have to use single-use plastic, because sometimes there really aren't any other options, then landfills in their design process, supply chain.
Recycled, all this crap, just shut the F up. And then we got this, paying more tax to work from home. That could be the least of your troubles at home. Big changes are coming for those who work at home. Some will be welcome, others less so. So the government's going to look to tax people heavier that are working at home. Working from home, WFH, is such a privilege that you should actually pay more for it. That is the premise report from the Deutsche Bank economist. That's creating something of a stir. Researchers argue that WFH will remain part of the new normal. So these scumbags, They tell you to work at home. They tell you can't go to work. They tell you if you're going to work, you have to work at home. Now they're telling you that you're working at home, you got a privilege of working at home, so therefore you're going to be taxed for working at home. Unbelievable. So the researchers have argued that working from home will remain part of the new normal after the pandemic has passed, and that poses a big problem for economies with long-established infrastructure built around face-to-face working. The answer, remote workers should pay additional tax to support the broader economy and those unable to. Communism! Yeah! Yay! More taxes. Isn't it wonderful? For years, we have needed a tax on remote workers. COVID is just, I mean, these people! Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, these people. Oh my God, oh my God. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Un-effing believable. And then we got this. The best thing, butt feed, the best thing about Japanese apartments. Yeah, they live in a shoebox. Is that generous, though? Can you, I mean, are these even shoeboxes?
Things in my Japanese home that just make sense.
They make sense.
The shower room is standard in a Japanese home. Ours, again, is much more modern. You shower.
Yeah, you get to shower with your laundry. Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Awesome. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, laundry, and you could do your laundry at the same time you're shopping. Or you're shopping the same time you're showering.
On this side, take a bath on this side, and we also use it as a drying room.
Yeah, there you go.
Smartest thing in here is that this is the drain. And it has a strain inside that's easy to remove that catches all of the hair.
You never heard of that before. My God, that's got to be the most revolutionary development I've ever seen. Could you imagine that? How comes nobody's ever thought of that? Nobody ever thought that they should put a strainer on right, in a bathtub or a shower. I mean, it just blows me away. Thank God for Japanese-style apartments.
All of the hair.
Yeah.
This is the control panel.
This is the control panel.
This is air ventilation. We would turn this on while we're in the shower. This is the heater button. You can heat the room before you get in on cold mornings instead of running water. This is the drying button. So as our clothes are in,
drying button. I got a button for everything. It's funny how they don't show you any of the apartment yet. They showed you the freaking stupid showering / laundry room, and then they're showing you the buttons. This is a button for this. This is a button for that. This is a. What about Alexa? Okay, you say Alexa. Alexa.
From the inside.
Yeah.
We have a door right next to the stovetop.
Yeah.
The sides open for extra ventilation at the bottom.
Oh, it's just so brilliant. Yeah, the extra ventilation. Yeah, it gave you a door. Wow, you got a door. It's got bars on it. Oh, it's just wonderful. Hey, welcome to your new prison cell. Yeah, woo! Prison cells. Can I get mine in a sewer tube? Preferably underneath a highway or something. The sewer tube homes.
Every door in our house slides. This is a space-saving feature. Our stove has a heat-setting temperature for rice. Most every
the heat-setting temperature for rice. There you go. You get a bowl of rice a day. There you go, a bowl of rice. Oh, you're lucky. Pretty soon, no? Maybe they'll give you a little Soylent Green packets to mix with your rice.
Their own individual heating and air system.
Yeah,
all come with their own remotes for
all,
heating,
all come
air
with your own
air circulation, self-cleaning, and dehumidifying.
Wonderful.
There are more settings on the inside.
God.
The remote
Still to this moment in the video, they have not shown you like any sort of panorama of the apartment. Nothing. Isn't that amazing? It's like that would be the first thing you would show. You'd say, look at this new Japanese-style home or whatever, right? Japanese-style apartment. But no, instead they're just showing you all these little areas, right? And they're not showing you the whole thing. They're just showing you the remotes. Wow.
You can still access all the settings like this.
Why do you need a remote when you can just push the button? Like, how stupid is it to have all these remotes? She's like, we got remotes everywhere. And it's like, you could just go up and push the button. What's the difference? In fact, I'd rather just not have the stupid-ass remote and just push the button. Because then I wouldn't have this stupid thing on the stupid wall. It's so dumb. It's so utterly dumb. It's got to be the dumbest thing ever. It's like having a remote to turn on your kitchen lights. I mean, it's so dumb.
This is a fish broiler. This is what the broiler looks like when it's turned on. So you put the fish on top and it cooks the fish.
You're not going to be allowed to eat fish.
Toilet rooms, it has a place for 2 toilet paper.
Whoa, 2 toilet paper rolls.
Our
I don't
kitchen
know.
has this open face shelf built in.
That's your
Trailers
kitchen.
store our most used
The kitchen is a closet. It's a closet.
appliances and keep them plugged in. It slides out if you need it to.
Wonderful.
Really convenient because I don't
really
have to pull the
convenient.
pan out of the cabinets. It's also efficient because it saves counter space. Cool features about this is that underneath is actually a really quiet vent. So if I'm cooking hot food like toast, the hot air vents out the top.
It's just unbelievable.
All of the light switches in our home have lights on them.
Oh, it's not
So
fucking
you can
amazing.
find them in
Ah,
the
it's just
dark,
amazing.
Down the hallway, wherever you are. Our mailbox has a lock on it. The only time I've ever had a lock on my mailbox is at an apartment complex, not my house.
Yeah, but you know, that's interesting because nobody steals anything in Japan, so why would you need a frickin' lock on your thing? Anyways, let's move on from this crap. And we got this. Futuristic audio technology will beam music directly to your head. Yeah! Woo! Ah. That's awesome. Right? Why have headphones? It just go right into your head. Imagine how they could torture you. Imagine that. Oh my God. Because you know how they tortured like Noriega, for instance, or they tortured like Al Qaeda, or you know, like in Guantanamo Bay, where they blast like AC/DC and Metallica to the jihadists, that the so-called jihadists that they do. So they do like psychological frickin' audio torture. Could you imagine this? Futuristic audio technology will beam music directly to your head. Unbelievable. So it's new futuristic audio technology developed in Israel. Ah, awesome. There's no question that Israel is really looking out for us all. There's no question. This got to be good if it's coming from Israel. Allows music to be played in a person's head without headphones or wires. Why is this side me out? Yeah. Who needs the wires, man? Just put it in the brain. Novato Systems is launching its new desktop device, the Sound Beamer 1.0, on Friday, promising customers the chance to listen to music, watch TV, and play computer games with little chance of disturbing anyone else. The product works by using something called sound beaming, employing 3D sensing module that first locates and then tracks the ear's position and uses ultrasonic waves to send audio to the ear's listener, creating a sound pocket around their ears. Oh, what could go wrong? Oh, it's just the best stuff ever. While the sound beam is not new, Novato has created the first branded consumer item to employ the tech and has plans to unveil a smaller, sexier version. It's going to be sexier for sure. Of the prototype in time for Christmas 2021. This week's buyers will have the option of using traditional stereo sound. Wonderful. It's just, oh man, God, what can go wrong with our tech? Nothing could go wrong. Our tech community loves us. They love us. Nerds won't kill us. Nah, not the sheeple will. Quebec to ban sale of gas-powered cars by 2035 as part of climate plan. Yeah, awesome. I wonder where else they did that. Is there anywhere else that did that? Oh, what else is there? There's, California. Look at this. California to ban new gas engine car sales by 2035. Globalist New World Order. There is the American psycho himself. I wonder what his cars, I wonder. You wonder.
Any attention about the state of California that we've been suffering and struggling through simultaneous crises. And as a consequence, we've been challenged as a state in ways that, frankly, we haven't been in quite some time. Of all the simultaneous crises that we face as a state, and I would argue as a nation, and for that matter, from a global perspective, none is more impactful, none is more forceful than the issue of the climate crisis.
Yeah, there you go. Climate crisis, CC33. So Quebec $6.7 billion plan to cut emissions and ban the sale of gas cars. So it's all Agenda 2030. Like everything I'm showing you fits in Agenda 2030, sustainable development, the Japanese micro homes or micro apartments, the sewer tubes, the everything that they're doing. They're moving it rapidly towards that. So Quebec banning again. France did this years back, saying by 2030 they would do it. It's easier to do in Europe because there's less vehicles. It's a different sort of lifestyle for a lot of people. Most people in the cities don't have cars and stuff, or if they do, they're usually, Vespas and stuff like that. North America. So here you go. Now, again, California, Quebec, many other places, they're all going to do this. You're all going to see. If you haven't seen it in your own state or province, it's going to happen real soon. Guaranteed. Probably in the next couple of weeks, you'll see the announcements being made. So the ban of gas-powered cars by 2035. And then again, you think about it, it's all the people that live outside the cities that are going to be the most impacted by this because they're the ones that drive the trucks and stuff, right? So it's going to be like in the future, you won't be able to find a gas station. No, there'll be a thing of the past. There'll be a relic of the past, kind of like Blockbuster Video and stuff, right? You'll have just charging stations. And the charging stations, you'll go in, you get your gender changed while you're getting your car changed, right? And they'll provide you with tranny porn. And, and then, of course, 24/7 surveillance in their new vehicles. All their vehicles, of course, will be hooked up. They'll all be self-driving cars, all of them. They all will be, guaranteed. By 2030, probably every car on the road, or at close to that point, every car on the road will be self-driving because this is how they're moving it. Why? Because they want complete control of everything that we do. The future of the world is a complete tyranny, complete surveillance, complete everything that we do will be monitored. Everything that we do will be rationed. Everything that we get will be rationed to us. We will be paying credits or carbon taxes or anything that we do. As I said, everything that we do will be monitored. This is one of the reasons why they brought in the smart meters. The smart meters were kind of the first step in bringing that level of surveillance around. The smart meters that communicate with all the smart devices. This is how it works. The smart meters are monitoring everything that you're using within your house, and they're sending all that information to the governments, the corporatocracy and all that. So they're going to get you used to, they're going to shut down power grids. They're going to say it's for sustainable development or minorities or whatever. They're doing this already. They've been doing it to you for a long time. It's like in California where they shut down power for half a day or a couple days, right? It's all conditioned you, getting you used to this new normal. They're incrementally, or it's happening quickly. But anyways, is there anything else I had to show you? What was this one? No. And I got that. And yep, that's it. That's the big show. Thank you all so much. Man, it went a little bit longer here. It was like 3.5 hours almost. Boy, oh boy. It's pretty crazy. What a show. I hope you guys like the show. I mean, I know a lot of the stuff that I discuss is pretty dire and sometimes it's going to be a bit overwhelming. You can feel it in me, right? You see, sometimes I just freak out. That's my way of dealing with it. But that's the type of person that I am. Just so you understand, like, I have always been one of these people that has a quick temper. And I like that. Right? Like, I think, like, for me, it's always a good thing to have a short fuse. Not in the sense that, I used to get a lot of fights and stuff, but the thing that, like, you don't hold things in and you let it out. You let it out. It helps you deal with what is going on. And that's why I hit the desk pretty hard a few times tonight to emphasize the incredible tyranny that we're all kind of dealing with. I mean, I'm just blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. Like, every single day I'm blown away. And it's like I've been doing this for almost a decade, like almost 9 years now. And I've never been more blown away by what's happening this year. And every episode I do, and I go through what I'm going through. I'm always like, before I start, I'm like, okay, take it easy, don't get too angry. Never happens though, because I mean it just blows me away. It's like when you think that, like, for instance, the government is deciding who you're allowed to see, that it just blows me away. It's like, how on earth did they manage to do this? It's like the technocrats' dream has come true. This full-on tyranny is taken root, and it just blows me away. Like, I'm horrified. But at the same time, you know what? I try to have fun, because you know what? Life is short, and you still got to enjoy things. And I still believe that, good will prevail, and that the way that good will prevail is that enough people will learn from this, and we will raise a whole new generation of people to understand the tyranny that we have gone through, and so that we never face this tyranny again. So, I encourage you all. I think you need to speak out as much as you can. I really do. I don't think there's any point being quiet. And we're all being watched anyways, right? So it's not like, it matters, right? At this point, it's the most important thing is for us to put out, as much good information as we can, and reach as many people as possible, and just be the change you want to see. Most importantly, like, set the example. And I don't, I get mad about the sheeple, and I don't get combative with the sheeple. I'm trying to be diplomatic and pleasant in my everyday sort of dealings with people. And I encourage you to do the same. But there is a point where you do have to stand and say and speak out against what's happening, and you could be creative about it. But yeah, it's a process that we're all going through. Nobody has ever faced this before, and but humans have faced many other things. So it's not like tyranny hasn't been here and hasn't done horrible things throughout human history. So we're not alone in that category. It's just the level of surveillance and tyranny is at it's different level now. It's a different. The stakes are different. The outcome is going to be different. The objectives are so massive, right? Their global aspirations are so. It's utter sheer dominance that these people want over humanity. So it makes it very perplexing and difficult sometimes to process and deal with the information. And I am constantly inundated with information. I read so many articles every day. I see so many videos. I get so much information sent to me. So I am one of these people that gets, maybe I know a little bit too much, and that can be hard too, because it's like information overload, and also just, you're focused on all the tyranny that's happening. There's still a lot of good things happening, right? That's why on Friday, try to have fun and talk about other things, and have a good time, sort of thing. Monday could be a heavy show because it's really dealing with the hardcore sustainable development, Agenda 21, whole New World Order transformation that's happening to our world, and how rapidly it's all happening. So yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming at times, but I'm doing my best. I'm sticking with it. I'm trying to be the change I want to see, and trying to just fight the good fight, sort of thing. So anyways, thank you all so much, and I encourage you, if you can, to please try to come and support the show. It's through Patreon, and I don't sell anything or anything like that, but if you do want to help out, you can sign up in the link in the description below. You can sign up for as little as $2 a month. I think most people can probably afford that. But if you're in a situation you can't afford that, by all means, please don't try to support me. I want you to take care of yourself and your family first and foremost. But if you can't, come and try to support the show. And yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday. I got the show with Camille, so that'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Jeff C Live. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Tomorrow, probably a couple shorter vids. And of course Friday, the bone broth sort of thing. So it'll be a busy week. I have a lot of other shows coming up. I got another show with KJ Osborne I'm going to be doing. Some more mystery guests coming up probably in the next couple of weeks. which is really exciting. I love doing those shows. And yeah, so anyways, with that being said, just bid you all the wonderful evening. And hang in there. You know, be the change you want to see. Plant as many seeds as you can. Fight the good fight, and let the chips fall where they may. You know, when you're on the side of the righteousness, you know, you've got nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear because we're not the ones that are manipulating society. We're not the ones that are you know, hurting people and doing all this to humanity. We're the ones that are trying to fight it. So we have nothing to fear. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful night.
Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order can emerge, a new era, freer from the threat of terror, stronger in the pursuit of justice, and more secure in the quest for peace. An era in which the nations of the world, east and west, north and south, can prosper and live in harmony. 100 generations have searched for this elusive path to peace, while 1,000 wars raged across the span of human endeavor. And today that new world is struggling to be born. A world quite different from the one we've known. A world where the rule of law supplants the rule of the jungle. A world in which nations recognize the shared responsibility for freedom and justice. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, and we will be, and we will be, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order. An order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind, peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law. Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future. Now we can see a new world coming into view, a world in which there is the very real prospect of a new world order, a world where the United Nations, freed from Cold War stalemate, is poised to fulfill the historic vision of its founders. And that's why I wanted to speak to you today about the new world taking shape around us, about the prospects for a new world order, for a new world order, for a new world order now within our reach.
Time and time again about a new world order. And this is the best chance to begin to establish the new world order. And that's why the stakes are so high.
And after 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order. We needed a new world order. We needed a new world order.
Now, much has been said by the Secretary of State and others about a new world order, about a defining moment in history. And how negative or positive it will be will depend on what kind of new world order we really create. Can it really be said that this is a true new world order when it lacks a true United Nations collective security effort?
What do you think America's place in the new world order should be?
No, I think this would be the time, because you really need to bring China into the creation of a new world order.
There's a need for a new world order.
Henry Kissinger pointed out in his superb book on diplomacy, he said, None of the most important countries which must build a new world order have had any experience with the multi-state system that is emerging. Never before has a new world order had to be assembled from so many different perceptions or on so global a scale.
As I've told you before, because I love it so much, they also created the Great Seal of the United States. And that Great Seal of the United States has on it Novus Order Seclorum, a new order for the centuries, for the ages, forever, 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 forever.
There is a chance for the President of the United States to use this disaster to carry out what his father, a phrase his father used, I think, only once, and hasn't been used since, and that is a new world order, a new world order, a new world order.
The transatlantic partnership was never just the foundation of our security. It was the foundation of our way of life. It was forged in experience of the most bitter and anguished kind. Out of it came a new Europe, a new world order, a new world order, a new world order, a new world order.
Commander told me that they were not sure they would be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.